Hey, what's up, everyone? Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Heliopsychosis podcast. This is your host, Vikka, guys. Welcome to the show. And yes, we are back another Sunday. Looks like the last Sunday was just yesterday, and today we are almost on 1st of June. Like almost half of the year is freaking gone,
Yep.
right? And soon we're gonna be, maybe in few days, we're gonna be in the Christmas. So, yep, absolutely, the time is flying by. And yes, 6 months. And after 6 months, Mr. Austin looked like he wanted to break the silence. Everybody was like literally all ears to listen to this, what he was missing in all this. 6 months after, yep, after all the drama and after everything with Jalen flipping and everything, now look like we have something more tangible to work with. Maybe now all that hype is gone, so the real data is gonna come. But looks like the same word salad going on with nothing to really prove but just crying. So yeah, we wanted to deep dive into that a bit, little for uh, educational and how do we call it? Criticism purposes only, all right? Because people need to be aware of what is the next step going to be, right? Because do these people want us to believe that there's a 24-hour sun? So absolutely, get your popcorn, get your coffee, tea, split, whatever makes you comfortable, and let's jump in today's awesome conversation. Let's say hello to my brother Gene, there all the way from New York in his studio again. How are you doing, Gene?
Hey, brother. Doing good, man. Yeah, doing good. Right? June has a lot of nerve showing up at the end of April. Huh? Crazy, bro. I don't even understand it. Kind of weird to
Oh yeah,
watch, though. Right? So, yeah. I don't know. I watched that video. I'm not sure what the silence was broken, to tell you the truth, but I don't know. Maybe you saw things different than me. We get into it. I got some questions. That's for sure. So yeah, hey guys in the chat, how was everybody doing? Good to be here with you all. Hi everybody, welcome.
oh yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, bro. Yeah, this is the thing, right? I think hardly anybody really got anything out of it, right? Other than the same crying and the same, you know, people did this and people did that. Yeah, so absolutely, bro. Let's say hello also to Tron. Tron, how are you doing tonight, brother?
Doing fine. A little tired. Doing fine. Doing fine. Um, just hanging in there, trying to relax a little bit today. Working on some couple of presentations that I'm going to put out and stuff like that for anybody that cares to look at them. I always call my stuff level one, basic, simple to understand for people to hopefully will look at it, and just simple stuff. But I'm looking forward to seeing this. I haven't actually watched it, but I have a couple of friends, a couple of flat earthers in the community that were telling me all about it because I just haven't had the time to watch it, and I'm curious to see, if anything new's coming out. I understand there was a little bit of crying about personal issues and that sort of thing, but I don't know. I don't want to judge. You know what I'm saying? So I do want to. I am interested in checking it out to see
Oh
what's
yeah,
going.
we tried to download it so we could listen it, and but it didn't let download. So maybe it
Oh,
has something. Yeah, it's protected, right?
well, like I said,
It's not allowed for fair use. Maybe.
gotcha. Well, I was told I had a good friend of mine, one of my mods actually in one of my lives watched it on my TikTok live. So they were giving me the updates, and they were saying the same thing. Nothing. It was a nothing burger, like they say, as far as I know. Uh, Something about family issues, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I know people. Everybody has family issues, but I I mean,
Oh yeah, basically
I'm
it
still
was, yeah.
suspect of the whole thing, but if there's something that comes out, I'd like to know. I don't want to keep, I don't want to be mad at somebody if they're telling the truth, but I don't know, man, about a lot of stuff. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, one of his first main concern is that the people are not believing him that he saw a 24-hour sun there. That's why he's kind of in a bit pissed, right? Trust me, bro, it's what he wants the people to do, right?
Yep.
One of the main things that he did, that he don't owe any explanation or audit to anybody, right? This is what's also one of his main things, right? That nobody can audit him or question him, like, but then why the hell did you represent yourself there, right? Why the hell did you fundraise for all the equipment or whatever you took there, or right?
Yeah. Yeah. If he took money from people, he owes an explanation, of something. That's the way I see it. I
No,
didn't get any money, so I didn't give. I didn't get money, and I'm in the interest of full disclosure, I never followed him at all. I never followed him or Jaron or any of these guys. I was, in my own world. They never influenced me, not one time, on anything that I've ever done or believed concerning geocentric, flat Earth, or anything. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not disappointed because I was never a follower, but I would like to know what's going on because I was forced to have to comment on the fake experiment and all the crap that was going on. So I had to comment on it, and because people kept asking me about it. So I kept telling them my same statement. I don't care. Whatever happens, I don't care. It's not going to change one thing with flat Earth. It's not going to make the Earth a globe all of a sudden, and I don't know. I haven't seen any evidence of anything, I haven't seen any scientists running down there to check it all out, and document it. All I know is there was 10 people that went down there, and now we're all supposed to
some
fall
fake,
apart.
yeah.
We're
There
supposed
is
to
some,
fall apart with what they said. I don't buy it.
and yeah, and Mr. Austin wants us to buy this just because he's getting a bit emotional about the people not trusting him, and that just because Jaron flipped doesn't mean, right, dude? It was part of the whole game, dude.
I hate
Right?
to say it. It's sounding like it. It's sounding like it, and I don't know if we're going to have any more fallout from it. I hope not, but there could be more fallout from other people in time. I don't know. I hope not. We shall see.
Oh yeah, and he's saying that it's all right that Jaron flipped, right? And it's all right that Jaron flipped, and still believe me that there's a 24-hour sun, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm saying so. I'm not going to provide all the freaking big promises from starting from a live 24-hour live
Yeah. Everything.
to every data and those terabyte of data. Nothing is out there. The footage is being used is from Mr. Will Duffy,
Yep.
right? Not
And
even his own footage, from Dave McKeegan, from McToon,
yep.
using their data, and want us to believe that there's a 24-hour sun. Even if there was a 24-hour sun going around in circles, but taking evidence from their data, it's not his, no one is going to believe it. That's what I'm saying. 6 months after you wanted to break the silence,
We have
it's
nothing yet.
too late.
I know it's too late. And has anybody ever addressed with him? I don't know. I would ask him if I ever could be in contact with him. But has anybody ever addressed the fact that this Will Duffy claims to be a pastor, but he has pretty serious issues with lying and all this stuff, and then his background and the different trouble he was in financially, and then the fact that he appears to be an actual Mason. I mean, I would be certainly speaking out myself if I was going. I would be like, I didn't know. Has anybody ever confronted him about any of this stuff?
No, I don't know. He hasn't been around much.
Well, I'm talking about Whitson, because if I was in his shoes and I'm not, and I found out all this information, I'd be renouncing it immediately, saying I didn't know, it's wrong, blah, blah, blah. That's what I would do, but that's me. I'm different. I can't speak for somebody else. I'm just curious. It would be nice to know what if he knows.
In simple word, Tron, like if the mastermind was a deceiver, and you want us to believe a project, let's call it a scientific experiment, right, or observation, right, that they want us to believe, right?
The fake experiment.
Yeah, and what really data is he giving us other than his trust me, bro? Other than one video, right? What is that real data there?
Now,
To show that yes, there is a 24-hour sun and it's going around our head at this location and this latitude exactly, right? With IR lenses, like with thermal cameras, right? With different angles from different dude.
Weren't we supposed to get? I remember specifically. Maybe I'm forgetting, but weren't we supposed to get a continuous live feed for 24 straight hours or something like that? Wasn't that what we were promised? Those of us that were told. Did I get that?
Oh yeah, absolutely, brother. Before we mention that, I'm gonna give a quick shout out to our brother Ironwork Vladimir. Thanks for the super chat, brother. See you here in a bit. Absolutely, yeah. He did an whole episode. Mr. Duffy did an whole episode about his experience at the airport with his satellite antenna from Starlink. He did a whole episode on that. Why the hell did they do a whole episode of what really happened with the live stream?
They should have. They should have. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like it would have been a simple thing to take whatever was needed to make sure you could set some cameras up, get some live feeds or something. It just seems like that's what they were supposed to do, but we didn't really get that, did we? So I don't, what are we supposed to believe? What are we supposed to believe? Right? All we can do is say it looks like you guys didn't come through, and and then all this evidence now that we've seen for what they did release, looking at all the spliced video here and all this over there and trucks disappearing here, all this weird stuff that we've seen, shadows going the wrong directions and all over the place. What do they expect us to do? And what, and then they expect us to not have looked at these things and not comment, like, hey, this doesn't look right. Right? What were we supposed to do? And then we're not getting any real answers when we do say it. Right? We bring it up and then they start crying for some reason.
I'm convinced they were there, though.
Oh yeah, they want. Yeah, convinced that they want everybody to. Yes, they were there.
Yeah, and who knows? I mean, they said they were there. We don't even know if they were there.
I'm convinced they think they were there.
Maybe they thought they were there. Who knows? I don't know. The only thing I know is they were someplace where it looks like there was some snow. We know that much. Maybe.
But, oh yeah, absolutely. Hey Russell, your link is on Telegram, bro. Ironwork, Vladimir, how you doing?
Hey Vic, thanks for having me, bro. Vic, Gene, what's good, bro? Tron, how you doing, sir? Good to see you guys. Good to see y'all. All right. Yeah, man. Man, Tron, look, you are right on the money, man. Like, whether they went or they didn't go, there's so many inconsistencies that appear, right? It's so tricky for the eyes, like you can't help but to throw the whole thing away. And my thing is this is probably one of the biggest takeaways. If they want to claim that the earth is a globe, and they want to match the shape of the earth with the shape of the objects in the skies, then why is it that the sun keeps turning into a football going up and down?
Oh man,
so
I saw it. You're right.
So then it's like, okay, if we want to play that game, then the earth is a football. Now it's not a football. Now the earth is a pancake. Now it's not a pancake. So then let's go with that logic. If that's the logic game they want to play, let's go with that logic. Like, I'll be more than happy to play that game. But at the end of the day, we know what it is. And what I feel, it's so consistent with what the globe does. that you can't buy it. You can't, even if they did go, you can't just accept that they went. You know what I'm saying? Because of all the other lies attached to what it is that they do. And that's the problem with lies and liars, is that whatever they do past the original lie that you caught them at, it doesn't amount to anything, because they have a behavior of lying. That's it. They come from a place of lies. So nothing that they do is worth anything.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. And you can see it in the stream. You can hear it in the stream. It's like when you are lying, you have to make shit up.
Yep.
And you can see that. You can hear that.
I kind of think that maybe, I don't know if you guys see it this way, but whatever video clips and stuff that we've gotten a hold of that they released, right? We only got what they let us have, right? Don't you think maybe that they knew people were gonna scrutinize it and find all the things that were found? You don't think that they didn't know that people would see shadows going in different directions and trucks disappearing and all this? Surely they knew that we were going to see this stuff. So it seems like some sort of psyop they're doing. They released this crap. They know. I mean, so then if you look at it, now we have to say something, because if we don't say something, you know what I mean? You got to say something. So it's almost like, did they do it to make people say something, to stir it up so they can have something to talk about for the movie that they're making? That's what I think is happening.
Yeah, I'd say so. I definitely agree with that. And it's also because like, this is why, to answer that question real fast, yes, right? Why? Because I feel that without us, they're nothing. They're absolutely nothing, because basically we've exposed their hand, right? And whether people on the outside that are not necessarily hardcore globers, but they just believe the Earth is a globe, because we were all trained like, yeah, right, that we were all trained that way. It's only a matter of time before those lies that we believe that we believe that we know what the truth, or we're starting to know what the truth is now, before they start to unravel themselves in front of everybody else's eyes. So it's almost as if it's a big money grab before the bankruptcy hits the store. You know what I'm saying? It's a big giant money grab at whatever they can reach at before crap hits the fan. Because I honestly believe that there are those. The lies are getting exposed. There are those that are of the globe that are going to start to realize what this place isn't. They're going to see the Will Duffys and all those other liars associated for who they really are. And then those guys are going to need some kind of money. They're going to need something to protect themselves, something. So they're doing this big giant money grab. That's what I feel. I agree, though.
Yeah. And once you realize that they're starting to lie on that side, the smaller guys like what we got here, then you realize you're already looking, probably because you understand that the narrative's a lie anyway. So if you catch the little guys lying, that should be a huge, bigger, way more compounded problem for everybody, hopefully.
But if you think about it, nobody that is just an average person that believes we live on a globe, I don't know of anybody that even knows about this fake experiment. Yeah, nobody. We're the only people. Those of us that are flat earthers, we're the only ones that care about it. You know what I mean? So it just seems like, what's really going on here? Who are they? What are they really doing? Who are they trying to kid here?
Well, I got a friend or two on Facebook who don't really follow. They're globers, but they don't really follow much. And they have brought it up once or twice. So it might be around, but it's mostly geared towards us, I think.
Right. I think so. It's what, they might have read a Google post or something and never gave two cares about it, so. Oh, it's going to be interesting. I know they're going to put this movie out soon. They are. They can't sit on it forever, right?
Yeah, right.
They're going to still have to explain
all the terabytes of information that they allegedly had. Has anybody seen that?
Nobody's seen anything.
They wound up in a McDonald's dumpster like the rest of those other NASA tapes.
Yeah, they're going to lost the telemetry video of it all, like they lost all the NASA footage. You're right, all the moon landing footage. It was just lost.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
it's over
funny.
there. It's collecting dust with Jimmy Hoffa and everything else, the Loch Ness Monster and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Disappeared mysteriously.
Yep.
Got deleted.
Are you
Yeah.
serious?
No, I don't. Nobody knows. These are all those assertions that they see. This is the thing, man. You lie once, we're waiting for you to lie again. So it's like, just keep talking. The YouTube
Exactly.
is not going away no time soon. Neither is Rumble. So just keep talking. Well, you'll put yourself in your own pit.
Yeah,
Just keep talking.
it will.
That's what we got to
Oh
do.
yeah,
Let them just keep talking. They're gonna reveal it.
Yep.
No big deal.
And you know that I think kind of like what Tron hit on is kind of what they were looking for. They wanted to see the holes that we found so that they can edit properly their movie. You know what I'm saying? So they're like, oh, let's clean this up, let's clean that up, let's clean this up, let's clean that up. Only problem is you have that person that's super meticulous about everything that has already fully documented this to make their own flat earth version of the final experiment. You understand? Somebody's out there doing somebody, I don't know who it is, but there's somebody out there. They knew we were going to tear this thing apart. They figured we would, and based off of what our discoveries were, they would make a hit piece on us. The problem with that is that we're telling the truth based off of what we see. Whether we're right or wrong, we're telling the truth. That's it, right? We think this is a mistake. We think that is a mistake. Fine. Somebody on the flat earth side is documenting us and documenting them. And they're going to do the same thing. Somebody's going to drop a hit piece. I don't know who it is. I don't know if it's Hibbler. I don't know if it's you, Vikka. Somebody's going to do it. And when they do it, I think it's going to be a bigger piece than what this final experiment is going to reveal or what they claim they're going to reveal. But the problem with that is that you have so many people that are going to get with what the first news gives. The first news is like the fresh news to them. And that's the one that they're going to kind of buy. You understand?
Yeah.
The remix is going to be a little bit hard to digest because they're like, well, the first guys said this, and I believe it's a globe, so I'm kind of going to go with the first news. It's the fresh news, but it doesn't matter because it's all on record.
Yeah, the first one to the news place gets the headlines, and that's
Yep.
you know that's what people remember most.
Yep. It's hard to like the remix.
It was like, how many part twos of movies did you like? Part twos are usually kind of just cheap ripoffs, that they're trying to extend the life of it.
Yep. With the exception of Lord of the Rings, I actually like Lord of the Rings. I did the second one.
I didn't even see them.
The Two Towers, I liked it.
Oh yeah, the first almost half, he was almost just crying of what he did, what he expected, and the people were trying to attack him from everywhere, and he was going to the Discord. What the fuck are you doing on Discord, dude? Right?
Yep.
You are having your channel abandoned and your friend's channel where you were like advertising the hell out of this Antarctica psyop and everything, and when the time comes to give the evidence there, right, only for the VIP or whatever, right, and no really data, right, and when people are at yeah, go ahead, anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I agree. I'm pining in to agree. Absolutely.
Yeah, because if there was something tangible, right, already from the first moment, maybe the people would have thought over it, right? But it all started with the fakery. Not even 24 hours you are there, and you guys are like lining up, like, like you have with the white flag, right? Freaking cannot be more scripted than a B-grade movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where the actors are so fucking bad that you can, the script is shouting at the climax is shouting at yourself in the beginning of the movie.
Yep. Yep. And it's unfortunate, man, because it's, I'm so happy that you made the title the way you did, because I was asking myself the same question. Like, what more is there that do we have to hear from him, right? You're talking about Witsit, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. So my thing is, like, what more do we have to hear from you about this final experiment? Like, are you going to come out and are you going to give us something groundbreaking? Like, they put chloroform in something and then they slipped you a Mickey or something like that, dragged you here. That would be interesting to hear, though I wouldn't believe it. That would be interesting, right? But if it's not any of that, like, there's so many lies were passed around. This thing is so dirty that I cringe. Like, by mistake, I ended up watching it. I didn't even want to watch it, but my hand slipped. I watched it, and I was like, "Oh, Lord, have mercy." And so I just let it run. I listened for a bit, and then I saw people were just throwing money at him, throwing money at his feet, and I said, "Okay, this is probably why he did it. This is probably why he did it." I saw the picture of Bibi Netanyahu right at the beginning of his show. I was like, "What's he trying to say? Like, where is this going?" And I saw that it was bunch of wit-splaining, I guess you could say, and it was just a bunch of hot air, using God's name and everything else to back him up. And I'm like, dude, you already lied about a couple of things, and now you wanna use God's name, and then you want to get people on your side, and all these people are on his side, which, hey man, that's their business, that's their prerogative. But then you see the money starting to come in. $50 here, $60 here, $100 here, $200 here. I'm like, Lord have mercy. Now, if those weren't the prices, shame on me, right? Thought I saw so much money coming in, right? And I'm not trying to pocket watch anybody, but I'm thinking, like, who's doing this, right? Like, what truth? Like, do you believe this? This is actually what you believe? You believe that this person's giving you truth so much that you're gonna give your time, and your money is basically a reflection of your time, how much you've invested doing whatever it is you do to make that money, and you want to give your time to this? I said, hey man, okay. So to me, Vikka, I'm basically saying all that to say, when I throw $5 in, man, I think this is time well spent, because I think that what you do is you're actively investigating something that I feel much of the community kind of needs to know, needs to understand. And even me, even though myself, like, I kind of hurt anytime I look at the final experiment. I think it's necessary that we kind of do a deep dig into the whole thing. Now I'll just land my plane with that.
Yeah, brother. The bullshit they made with the community with this TFE psyop, and they want us everyone to just like nothing happened now except a 24-hour sun because I say so. Never fucking in the life it's gonna happen, right? And just for the face
Yep.
value, because trust me, bro, it's not gonna fucking happen. Every step, every bullshit you emit from now on, it's gonna be like, what the hell you guys are doing? And as you're saying, speaking about the money, brother, right? This is the thing. These people are literally conning people and giving a magic trick out of the hat and saying we did this whole science thing, and the people are still falling for it. This is the best part. This is the best part, right? And also one of the best part, if you see Mr. Karen's new last post, he's crying. Even the Globers don't trust him.
See,
He's saying half of his followers are gone. Even Globers are not trusting him, because this is the thing. How are you gonna trust the fucking somebody who's a cheater, right? It's like if a cheater girlfriend or a boyfriend, if he's gonna cheat with you, how is he gonna sure with the next one he's not gonna cheat?
Yep.
Some Globers are not stupid.
Yep.
Right? Even their own people, the Globers, the main Glober, they also know that Nobody can trust him. He was never of how the hell is now he's a glober and he's going to be that
Yep.
authentic glober, right? Honest of all the truth seekers that existed in this new decade. He's one of the most honest what he saw, and he wants to prove to the world freaking scripted movie, right?
Exactly.
Hey guys, Robin in the chat just brought up something that we say that Sharon now says to everybody, listen, Katy Perry went to space. Get over it.
Uh, uh, yeah,
That's
yeah,
where he's at, guys. So
yeah.
what?
That's the problem. That's something. That's something that I mentioned. I said, man. I said, I don't know how the Globers, but it shows you the level of dishonesty that we have in front of us. You understand? Like they're so dishonest. I almost wonder if they're joking. I'm like, you got to be like, you're joking, right? This can't be serious. You're not serious about any of that. But
That
it
ass.
goes to show you, not only is he dishonest, right? But also the people he's involved with is dishonest. But the honesty comes in the numbers as well. Like you've seen his numbers drop drastically. Of course, he's going to talk about how many viewers, but then you have the lazy people, kind of like me, that haven't unsubbed. And just like I'm like, man, I don't even want to touch the thing. When I see it, I just scroll past it. I haven't even unsubbed. I just don't watch. I just don't watch. And
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
like every once in a while his stuff will come up. It's like it's easy for me not so every once in a while my hand might grace and it might hit on his channel. I'm like, damn, that's another one for his algorithm. Like I don't even want to hear from him, right? You don't even
But
want to
it's
hear
good to
from
have
him.
a laugh, right? Iron, it's good to have a laugh to see the titles, the funny titles he makes, right? It's like a kind of
Absolutely.
entertainment too.
Yep. Yep. And it's like, oh, now you're of the globe. It's like either you're seriously been compromised or you honestly believe that and you're just dishonest. Which, if that's what it is, if you got paid, hey man, Globers get paid. This is something that I was just reinforced in my head. Leo, Leveler the Observer, who he makes amazing stuff. We get to see Leo from time to time. He comes in the chat and it's good to have him. I think he makes good, honest, like real down to earth content, right? And really, that's what it boils down to. Like Globe, the Globe gets paid for this stuff. They get paid for it. Like we don't get paid for it. It's it's humbling work, right? Because sometimes you're going to be wrong, and sometimes you're going to look silly. But that's part of it. When you're investigating something, you're not always going to be right the first time, right? It requires work, but it's work and it's time well spent, I feel, and it's for a worthy cause. But what's for the Globe? They have nothing to show for what it is they're doing, because if it's all based in a lie, why would you want to continue to investigate that lie? You understand? There's nothing left of the Globe. We've already exposed that. And so I think that the people of the Globe, when they're in Jared, for whatever reasons they're in Jared's channel, I think it's like a false hope they're looking for. But those that know. You know what I'm saying? Whether they're of the Globe or they're flat, those that know, and they don't want any piece of them. Like I saw when his numbers, when I was scrolling past his stuff, said he had 91 people watching. I said, you've got over 100,000 people that are sub to you, and 90 people are watching. I was like, that's what I get sometimes, and
Tenth
I've
of
got
1%.
yes, I've got a mere fraction of what Jaren has. That's what I get from time to time. I was like, yeah, man, it's that's saying a lot, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
Half of them could be bought accounts. Go ahead, Gene.
I was gonna say I don't know how accurate those numbers really are, because you know what?
Exactly.
Like we got 64. I got on my computer says 64 people are here right now, but and that number will fluctuate. But after the show's over, there's almost like 400 views right away. So I'm not sure how they
Yeah.
calculate it or how they figure who's really watching, or I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
YouTube probably
and
does put a governor on it.
What's that?
YouTube probably does governor it. They probably put a governor on it all. So Lord knows.
Yeah, and like how and who and where and when is, you know, debatable, I guess, you know. But they're definitely off in a
Yep.
weird way.
Oh yeah, guys. Before we continue, I just wanted to say, RG, your link is on Telegram. Geo, your link is also on Telegram. Chris, Lowry, if you want to join, let us know. Jeannie's gonna send you the link. Same for Dave.
Dave, my compass is always right there, brother. I switch it up once in a while. That compass looks good though, don't it? Dave, did you see my friend's work? She was up here a couple weeks ago. She'll be back.
Friend. Oh,
My
is she
friend
on?
Ari. I'm kind of talking to
Yeah,
David
yeah,
in
yeah.
the chats.
Okay, right. Okay. Ari, yeah, remember her.
Oh yeah.
From Maine.
Oh yeah. This is the thing, guys. Also, if Mr. Austin was so close, he was mentioning in his last thing, right? He was so close almost every second, other than right. Why didn't Jaren really tell him the real evidence that he see of why he thinks, right? Other than, yeah, there's a 24-hour sun and everything, right? There have to be more detailed information about why is the flip, right? No, respect is flip. A guy, 10 years of doing flat earth, just flips for a proof which Mr. Austin has want us to believe is true. Guys, try to picture this shit.
Yeah, compromised. I feel compromised, and there was money. There was money waved in somebody's face of a proposal one cannot refuse, or one, if they refused it, well, some things might happen to his legs or his family or his kids. I could see that compromise, but still, nonetheless, what we have before us is obvious mistruths. You understand? So whether he was compromised or not, we can speculate all day. But the instant flip flopping, but you're doing this off of what's observed in the sky, but you know better. He knows better. So for him to flip flop like that, we can speculate that he was compromised, but it's still a move full of dishonesty. It's dishonest. It doesn't matter where you. It's a dishonest move, whether he was compromised or not, right? But if you feel he wasn't compromised, then it's just a dishonest move. That's it. That's it. That's all it boils down to, I feel.
Oh yeah, and because he wanted to believe that the people have to believe that there's a 24-hour sun possible on a flat earth, right? So that kind of data you have to provide to the community, right? Compasses, right?
Yep.
Different sextants, whatever you want to use, right? You do bearing calculations, right? There are many things you can do to show exactly what you're seeing, where you are, right? Just giving an altered CGI video and wanting us to believe that's not how science is done. So it's like almost creating that it's on a flat earth, there is a 24-hour sun because they did this experiment. This is
And
what he wants us to believe. Yeah, go ahead.
Tron, like the question. 20 man, all the things you could have gotten wrong, that's the one thing you were supposed to get right. Oh, my bad. How about now? Oh, of course.
Now you're good. You're good now.
Things
Try
that
again,
they've gotten.
Vlad.
Oh, my bad. How about now?
Mic check.
Are you there, Vlad?
Yeah, how about now?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm here.
Alrighty, go
All
ahead.
right. So I'm saying, forgive me, y'all. Forgive me for all the things that they got wrong. That's the only thing that they could have gotten right. They could have done redundancy measures on the film. It's the holy grail of this whole thing. The 24-hour film. What we wanted. They were supposed to observe a 24-hour sun. Since we couldn't be there, their job was to film that 24-hour sun and give it to us as if we were there sharing it with them. But they didn't do that. That one thing is the only thing they needed to do. They refused to do it, and so we need to go based off of their testimony. But we're not. They failed. They failed in a million and one ways. They failed, and then the big part they failed to do. So if anything needs to be thrown in Duffy's face, I think it's that.
Duffy's face, and also Jaren, and also Austin, right? Because he
Yep.
wants us to believe that there is a 24-hour sun.
Yeah.
So change
Yeah.
the model,
Well,
go back to the drawing board, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but
Who has to go back to the drawing board? Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, this whole model thing, this whole thing is played out. Like they're reaching for straws in that regard. I feel like they're like, oh, where's your model? We need a model. Like, no, you don't need a model. Like, please stop with the model, because if they want to play that game, okay, guess what? NASA uses the model of the Earth being flat for planes to fly, for missiles to fly, for them to launch freaking cannonballs. Guess what?
Everything.
NASA uses the model of a flat Earth. Go. If you want a model so bad, let's use that model. How about that? End of discussion.
They don't use a globe for any of that stuff, do they, Vlad? Right?
Exactly. They don't use a globe model for nothing. You're crazy if you think that they do. You want to go off of models? Let's use NASA's model of the flat Earth. How about that? There we go. End of discussion. And then let's talk about that football sun. But yeah, all they needed to do was give us the 24-hour film, which they haven't done. So it's like they wasted everybody's time. They wasted their own time and efforts. And now they're going to waste money making a film that we're going to throw back at them as void because nobody's got that film. We have redundancy in the Navy. We have redundancy measures for everything. The Navy, the military in general, has a redundancy measure for everything that we do and we've done, right?
Ridiculous redundancies.
There's so many redundancy measures, it makes you want to cry.
You can't fail. They can't fail, Vlad, because if they didn't have so many checkpoints and something went wrong, it could really destabilize compartments in the military. So no, there's redundancy on top of redundancy. And over and over.
Exactly. You've got so many redundancy measures. They call it, I know in the Navy they call it make it sailor proof. And so sailors test those redundancy measures all the time. We always do, right? And so it's almost as if you could have you have so many smart people both on the flat and the globe side that would have given you experiments to try, that you could have asked 1 million people for experiments. Hey, it's basically like getting a laundry list or a shopping list. Hey, I'm going to ShopRite. Do you need anything? Yeah, sure. Bring me some salt, bring me some pepper, bring me anything off the laundry list because you're going to ShopRite, right? The supermarket. You're going to Antarctica. There's so many scientists that if you were going to this place, they're like, hey, I'm not going because of whatever reason, but since you're going, you could save me money by doing this for me, by doing A, B, and C. This is something that they let the world know they were doing for 9 months or whatever it was, almost a year. So even in the military, when I'd be doing some of my missions, I would ask certain people if there were certain things that they needed me to observe or certain things to capture. And they gave me a list of things, right? This is just what you do. So you don't have to waste your money to try and replicate and do the same thing. And so these guys going down there and coming back empty-handed or with some sparse evidence or based off of their claims of a 24-hour sun, I'm like, that is so unacceptable. Even those on the globe should be appalled because they don't have that film. They don't have that film. They have a couple of still pictures. You figured they'd have 12.5 cameras of the same exact thing, but they don't have one of that one thing that we need. It's abysmal. And so for the globe people to buy it, again, it's a testament to the type of people that we're dealing with and how deeply entrenched they are with these lies. I'm just gonna land it right there. I've been flying a lot, man. Let me quiet up. I talk too much.
They were telling the truth that the people need to hear it, because many don't. Just because many are not saying, not everybody is gonna be quiet, right? What real proof or data they had given for the people to look into it and make some possible options. And as you say, there was many. The whole community was there to help if you didn't understand any shit. These people even didn't knew that there was a 24-hour daylight possibility of 24-hour daylight in some places, right? Who was saying
Yep.
that? Mr. Admiral Byrd was saying that. And these people are never researched. They were doing a project of their lifetime, yeah, a science exploration, and they didn't even look on YouTube that there was Admiral Byrd video saying that possibility of 24-hour daylight. There's a lot of
Yep.
difference between 24-hour daylight and 24 hours sunlight above your head, because they
That's
want
right.
people to believe that there's a 24-hour sun so they can say there's a south pole. That is their main
Yep.
argument, right? And these people are buying into it, right? So they didn't even do their research. Forget about experiment from the different part of the community. Bro, this will prove, this will not prove, this will help us to prove, right? Nothing, dude.
Nope.
Nothing.
Nope. And I think Z was one of those folks, right? Z and Nachiketa, they were one of those folks to kind of come out with that information on the before the I think before they went to the final experiment and kind of show off their that book Zetetic Astronomy. And that yes, there's a 24-hour sun, not might, but based off of that, so it's like they could have compared that book's findings to what is actually there. And so I think that's probably one of the more important things, and a lot of people don't or may not be talking about. And so my thing is this, right? Whether there is a 24-hour sun or not a 24-hour sun, like I don't know if I'll ever know, to be honest with you, because I'm not going to Antarctica no time soon, as far as I know. And so their observation is important, but it's not the end all be all. But we've had other documents out there supporting a 24-hour sun, but we have to kind of recognize it, especially since we're flat earthers. And why do I say that? It's because yes, we're ultimately looking for the truth. So if there's truth in that, like okay, where is it then? Then what are we not looking at if this is what the claim is? And I feel there is a mistruth somewhere. Yes, yes. But as far as the observation of whether the sun is there for 24 hours or not, can we rely on them for that? Based off of their lies? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But is there some truth in that? I think that's the next set of questions we need to ask. Is there a truth in that whole thing? But from their perspective, I would say no. But from another perspective, perhaps that's something we totally need to look at, you know?
So how long do they say that the 24-hour sun lasts down there anyway? How many days? How many weeks and months?
I don't know. I don't know that. Maybe somebody in the chat knows.
Because
I think
every
I
10
heard.
days is
Yeah, go ahead.
every 10 days would be 240 hours. So
I think it lasts a few weeks.
A few
couple
weeks,
weeks.
okay.
So hundreds. It should be up for hundreds of hours then.
Yeah.
That's something to observe. You'd see that. You'd see that the whole time then, huh? Sunlight,
Yeah.
right?
You know, if it's, you got to imagine, right? Because every 10 days is 240 hours. 168 hours every week.
It's incredible that they've been down in Antarctica for 50 years and no one's filmed the 24-hour sun until now. Like, why were they hiding it? If that's what it was, all this time,
Yeah.
hide it for so long. Like, why shouldn't it be like every year people coming out? Oh, look, I saw the 24-hour sun, and nothing.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
remember
For all these comments. Yeah, go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
I remember. Do you know who Anthony Bourdain is?
Sure.
the
Cook.
chef.
Anthony Bourdain, the cook.
Yeah, we used to have a show and a very popular show, and I think it was on CNN for a while, for years.
Right.
And one of the last things he did was he went to Antarctica. He went to the South Pole,
What?
and he talked about. He did a whole episode him going to the South Pole, the station there, right at the South Pole, and he talked about 24-hour sun, and he never showed it. He said there's only 24-hour light. That's he hinted at the
Right.
fact there isn't a 24-hour sun. It's just
Mhm.
24-hour light.
He was taken out of the scenery a while back.
Well, yeah. Then all of a sudden,
Yep.
I think a week after that show came out, he committed suicide.
Really?
Suicide.
He
Holy shit.
or he was suicided.
Yeah.
I don't know what the case was, but I think that was interesting. So I think he was trying to give us
Wow.
a little bit of truth there.
Wow. That's deep. I never would have seen that coming.
Yeah, well, and they took the whole show off the air afterwards. Nobody talks about him anymore. That's how much they're hiding it. They do. You think?
Wow.
Yeah, you'd think some of the people on them cooking shows would be doing tributes and memorials to this guy. He was so popular.
Yeah, well, his show was more
It
than
might
cooking.
be. I don't know. I haven't seen it. It doesn't mean they're not doing it.
He talked
Right.
more about cooking than like his show was more about community and the people and culture.
Cultures.
And,
Cultures.
it wasn't just food. Like he really brought philosophical viewpoint to
Right.
everywhere he went.
Right. Man, that's profound to see that he would go to Antarctica, discover what he's discovered, say what he says, and then they wipe his channel off like immediately, shortly thereafter. So then it makes me wonder then, obviously it was filmed during and or around our winter time, correct?
Yeah, correct. He went during the 24-hour sun in Antarctica.
Okay.
I think he went
Right.
specifically to see that, but he never
Right,
showed
right.
it. And he kind of breezed past it, and he said
Right.
some kind of, I don't remember the exact quote, but he said some kind of comment like, the sun. He saw the sunlight.
Huh.
But he didn't talk about. He didn't say I saw the 24-hour sun.
Right.
He said he saw the sunlight.
But that's kind of
Right.
weird because that's not Anthony Bourdain's show. It's the Cooking Network's show that Anthony Bourdain is in.
Yeah, but
Yes.
he was on CNN. He at first he was on the Cooking Network, but then
Right.
CNN picked him up.
Right.
I think the
I remember that.
the last 3 years of his show, he was on CNN, and that's where he brought more of a cultural aspect to the show.
Yeah, that's a major network.
Yeah.
How much are you going to get away with on a major network? And they don't air that stuff. They edit it for weeks after, so I'm not sure how it adds up to me yet.
That's why he had to be careful with what he said. I think, but even being careful, I think it was too much.
Yeah,
that's why.
But what doesn't make sense is why did they even air it? They would just be like, "This is garbage. They're not putting this on the air. We can't."
Well, I think people were so used to having just a vague comment. That was enough proof for them. That people would just talk about, oh, there's 24-hour sun, and but we're never going to show it to you. You just believe it, and I think people were used to that level of proof, which was nothing, no proof, just somebody's word. So I think that's what he did, but I think people were questioning and really looking into what he said exactly. And yeah.
So did you see his breaking the silence video, Chris?
Anthony Bourdain's?
No. We are speaking about
What's
Mr.
it?
Austin.
Oh, Austin. No, I didn't see that. He came out with his own video?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
has a video. Yeah.
He
He's
went
breaking the
live on YouTube
silence.
a couple weeks ago.
Breaking the that
Probably about a week ago, actually.
Yeah, he's breaking the silence. He spilled the beans.
what is he breaking the silence about? About how there's a 24-hour sun, or about the
Yep.
flat earth, or
Yeah. It's about how hard time he had and how he was attacked by flat earth, and the people don't want to believe it, but it's true, and people have to take into account his sacrifice he's done for the community, and nobody can question him, and he don't need explanation. He don't have to give explanation to nobody, right? He didn't, like, fuck everybody.
Yeah, without saying
I
it.
just took the fucking hype. I ride the wave of my life, right? Get all the traffic I need, and now I don't need to give explanation when it's time to give data, right? This is what is breaking the silence, crying.
he has he's a new father, isn't he? His baby is like 1 year
Hey, I
old
want
or
to
something.
chime in. Hey, hey, Ironwork, you there?
Hey, yeah, I'm here. What's up?
Is Iron there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up? Can
Hey,
you hear
did you
me?
say you said something about they were making somebody? Yeah, I can hear you. They were making claims in Zetetic Astronomy, the book by Samuel Robotham.
Yes, that
Did you say
there
something
was a
about that? You
24.
heard something? Somebody say something?
It was so based off of Z found it. Z found that there was the sun circles for 24 hours. I think, yeah, it's from Parallax, the book from Parallax, right? Or wait, is that the one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
Zetetic
wrote that
Yeah, I
book.
Astronomy.
got it. No, I'm just
Yeah,
saying. I just went through it. He never said there was a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Matter of fact, he was saying that there wasn't. So whoever was making that up is not. The whole time you guys were talking, I was reading, buddy. I was getting into it. I don't think that he said that at all
now,
about.
now
So that
this is
he
this
was
is
against
based.
it. He didn't think that it could happen in Antarctica. So
So I'm gonna look again, and
you're
sweeping
breaking up,
through that,
Iron.
I think
You're breaking up.
hold on. Hold on, I'm gonna get to a place. Can you hear me now? Am I better?
Yeah, no.
Am I better?
You're okay now, man.
All right, hold on. I'm
No,
gonna
you're
get to a
good
better
now.
place.
Yeah.
This is all right. This is spotty.
It
I'm
was
gonna get to a
breaking
better
up.
place. Yeah,
Okay.
let me. Yeah, I'm gonna get to a better place.
Okay.
Y'all keep going. Keep going.
Oh yeah. So what's it mentioning that there is no 24-hour daylight, or there's no
I didn't
24-hour
know where it
sun?
was, and I grabbed the book. No 24-hour sun, and he was pretty much against it. There would be a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. This is directly out of the book right here. He didn't think there could be a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. That's what he was saying.
What
Just want to
Z
make
was
sure that
talking
was put
about
out there because he was a flat earther.
was Z's
Samuel Robotham, Zetetic Astronomy.
When was that written? Tron, what year was that written?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Chris.
18.
Are you breaking up too?
Am I breaking up? I don't know.
No, I think
This
you're
book was
lagging a
written in
bit, Tron.
The one I have is 18. This is the second edition, which was 1880. 1881. He first wrote it in 1865. I'm sorry?
You were lagging a bit, Tron.
Can you guys hear me?
We hear you, but you're just lagging a bit. What were you
Can
asking,
everybody hear
Chris?
Yeah, I was asking if Z
Hello?
that
Yeah, we hear you, but it's a bit of lag.
Rough night.
All
All right.
right. How about now?
Maybe off your camera for a few minutes. Maybe or maybe it's the big brother. Chris, go ahead.
yeah, I was asking if Z was talking about the quote from the book, or if he got it from somewhere else, some speech or some other book, when he was saying there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Is that did
You want me to
Z say
drop?
that from the book? Oh
No, you don't have to drop, Tron. It's like maybe just to off your camera and maybe your connections become all right. Yeah, drop and come back if you want, Tron. Tron. Yep. Alrighty, yeah. So yeah, I don't know if we heard your question, Chris.
yeah, well, Ironwork left, but because he was saying that.
Oh yeah. Now we hear you. Now we hear you, Tron.
I'll drop down real quick.
Holy shit, we are stuck here.
As wow.
Oh yeah.
There's something in the ether.
Oh yeah. All right. Before we continue, guys, hit that like button, guys. Alrighty. Yeah. Aji, are you there? Holy shit. Oh, even RG.
What do you think? I'm on internet. I'm on Wi-Fi. I'm in my place. So if you guys can't hear me, it ain't me.
Well, we hear you. You're lagging. You were lagging a bit, but yeah, go ahead.
I was saying
Go ahead, Tron.
I was saying that the book by Samuel Robotham, Zetetic Astronomy, he does not say that there is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica at all. He was pretty much against it. I don't think he thought it was possible. And the book was written, he put the book out in 1865. And then it was the second edition was 1881. That's the edition that I have.
How did he come to that conclusion? What's his reasoning?
I don't. Well, you'd have to read. I'd have to read all several pages of how he
can't break it down.
I can't break it down. He just didn't think it was possible because he was a flat earther. I have to read the entire thing to you. I don't want to bore you to death.
Yeah,
it's like a whole chapter.
It's based on the sun movement on the latitudes at the time of the year, because you could see on the.
He gets into all of that. He breaks it all down like that, and but the bottom line was he doesn't. I don't see anywhere where he thought there was a 24-hour sun. I think that he was speaking against it because the fact that it wouldn't work because we're not living on a globe. We live on a flat surface, and he was a major flat earther, and so I just wanted to put that out.
Oh yeah, that is the reason, guys. That is the reason. There is how people are saying that there was no evidence of really somebody coming out and showing real 24-hour sun in all these years, right?
Yes.
because if it was happening, it would have been kind of a culture on it, right? Same way that the people can go to the north and like go and experience it and see by themselves, right? It should be possible
Yeah.
down there too.
Can I just add that you know, it doesn't matter to me what he said, 200 years ago. I think we're learning stuff all the time about flat Earth, and we have to be willing to change our ideas about what the flat Earth is. It's not something that was written in stone. No scientist or cartographer has ever, done it justice. So we have to be willing to adapt to new things and new ideas and new understandings, and
Yeah, and new evidence
yeah,
headed and leaded by people like Will Duffy, right? We
yeah,
have to be open, right?
yeah.
Open
We
for
just,
rejection.
you know, everything changes, just like science. When they say that science is always evolving,
Yeah,
I think
science always.
the flat Earth is always evolving, into a new understanding of something, So,
No, it's true, bro. We're working against the whole entire system, bro, for hundreds of years
right,
now.
right.
At least 120 years. So that's a lot. That's a lot. They took a lot of stuff out. They slipped a lot of stuff in, and we're just figuring it out. What's the problem with that? I don't understand the problem with that. The globe has all the problems. The flat Earth doesn't have all the problems. We run into one problem down south where nobody goes. I don't know.
And
Who cares?
and we don't have the money from the government backing us.
Yeah, right.
All
The whole system.
heliocentricity has the whole system, the B system, pumping money into it, and into getting people believing it, and we have nothing. We have a laser.
Right.
I think that Samuel Robothon's reasons were the same reasons that we have. With that, he definitely believed in a small local sun that was in its orbital path, above the circle of the Earth, and he said that it just would not get down far enough, and it would not even be physically visible to be a 24-hour sun. So it's similar to what we would say today. Plus, he also said that no one had ever observed it. So it's the same reasoning that I think that is true today. And it's in his book. So I just wanted to point it out that I have the book, and maybe people can download it. You can get a PDF version.
It's old information, but maybe there is more truth than this manipulation of science going on in today's age
Yes.
of misinformation. It's much more trustable, that book,
Yes.
which have other evidences which supports that theory of flat Earth. Why would he be wrong on no 24-hour sun, right?
Exactly. And you have to understand, at the same time, Samuel Robothon, he put this book out in 1865. He did his first observation and experiment in 1838. That's a long time ago. And then Alex Gleason was a little bit later. He comes out with his book, like in 1890s or whenever, about the his Gleason map and all this stuff, and he addresses it as well. And we know Alex Gleason did not believe in the 24-hour sun. So it's all written, it's all there to be found. You know what I'm saying? To learn what they were saying. It's a good information. Just putting it out.
Yeah, well, I appreciate both of their works, but I think that we don't understand the path of the sun, the orbit of the sun completely. And I think that people have this idea about the shape of the dome. Well, I think if the shape of the dome was different than we imagine, and it would be possible for a 24-hour sun. So
It would be what?
Well, it would be possible for a 24-hour sun.
Right.
Like from what I've heard, the shape of the dome, they refer to it as the double arches, like in McDonald's.
Right.
Like we have this C-shaped dome. It's like the letter C. It's just it's like a semicircle, a hemisphere. But I think if it was more like an M-shaped, something like that would be possible. There'd be more refraction and more, we don't, I'm a flat earther. I'm here to talk about the shape of the earth, but, I think the shape of the dome could affect things that we see in the sky,
Hey, and Chris, that's a good point. That's a good point, man. Thank you, Vikka. I dropped a link for you, Vikka, about the sun. But I just want to say, Chris, like an M, if you were to be on top or looking your eye level with the firmament, right? That shape you were talking about is like the firmament cut down the middle from the top down. And it's like a toroidal donut shape is what I'm thinking, because the way the sun moves, it seems to be like a corkscrew going around our head in a circle fashion. And the reason I say that is because of these petroglyphs, these old petroglyphs, and what ancient people seen in the sky, they would draw on rocks, right? And there's a lot of those kind of M-shaped with a circle on each arch, like right in the middle of each arch. So it's kind of representing a toroidal shape above our head. And I know that's hard to hear for some people, but I think, Chris, you're onto something with that. I started looking into that a whole lot more recently. But also, I just wanted to say this, Vikka, thank you for having me on. What's up to the panel? There's only 4 months of summer in the South. It's mid-October to mid-February, and then they say there's only 6 months of summer in the North. So we're missing 2 months somewhere, and I'm pretty sure what I'm saying, because I couldn't find but one Analema picture, authentic Analema picture, and there was only 4 months of information until it hit the horizon, and the other 8 months are supposed to be on the below the horizon. Does that make sense or help anybody? Because it is confusing when they say it's a sphere should be equal 6 and 6, but it's 4 and 6. That's the only thing they can account for in the model. Now, some like Google will tell you, yeah, it's 6 months and 6 months, but it's really hard to prove that because there's not a lot of visual evidence for it. But yeah, I'll end there.
Can I also say that, they talk about the tilt of the Earth. Everyone knows that it's 23.5 degrees. So we have to understand, where do they get that from? Did somebody actually measure the Earth tilting and wobbling? No, of course not. So they get that from the sun. And I believe how it works is that on wherever the sun is on the solstice, according to where you are, the sun will go 23.5 degrees in one direction and 23.5 degrees in the other direction. So, and they say that, well, that's because the Earth is tilting. But if we understand that the sun is an apparent location according to where you are, and it's going to move 23.5 degrees either way, no matter what, whether you're in southern of South America or at the North Pole or whatever, it's still going to move 23.5 degrees either way. So I don't think it's you can explain it by Earth tilt or by the sun being in an apparent location and affected by refraction from the dome. So either one makes sense.
I have a question with that, Chris. Do you attribute any of the of that degree to the shape of our cornea, or?
Well, it could be, but
Mhm.
yeah, I've really thought of that. Well, I think I think there's two kinds of refraction. I think there is a critical refraction that when you see light, when it goes through glass, that'll cause critical refraction. It'll bend down. But we have refraction in our eye as well. When light enters the eye, it refracts into the cornea, But it converges light, so it's different. But yeah, I don't see how our eye would cause the sun to move like that. I think it would have
Right.
to be an external refraction, like a critical refraction. But
Yes. You're referring to the way it enters your eye, right? The vibratory or color kind of thing. So I don't know if anyone knows this, but the way a rainbow is structured, the red will always enter your eye first at the top of your cornea, and then it's they say 42 degrees, but then as the rainbow colors go down to violet or blue, it also enters your eye first like that. So I'm thinking if the sun is physically there or apparent, either way, if it always goes from your perspective up over your head and then back down, kind of like a rainbow shape, that's the illusion, is either the bend of the firmament or the bend of your eye. And if it's both, that would explain why things are inverted and then comes through your eye and then is
What the hell,
word, but
guys?
reverb.
Guys, relax. Like,
Yeah.
what are you guys up to? Like, so you guys want people to believe that there's a 24-hour sun? We understand that
No.
we are open for science. We understand that, guys, right? But we are not taking a one piece of evidence as an evidence from these clowns and these con artists.
Yeah, I don't
right?
think you should.
Having a clear fucking day, as if like he's a fucking prophet.
Yeah, I wouldn't accept his footage in any way, shape,
No,
or form.
none of these guys. None of these guys. Everybody who was on this trip,
There's nothing
including
that really-
Jaren and Austin. Yes.
No, I'm just Vikka. I'm just talking about things I've seen and research. I'm not going off anyone's word, so I don't want to be mistaken there. Yeah.
No, no, it sounds like that. Okay, there might be a possibility. Yeah, for sure, we are open that 24-hour daylight might be possible because of refraction and the dome and the hydrogen in the layer and the position of the sun.
Yeah.
Right, and the orbit of the sun. Right, that might be possible. Right, but a sun moving at 360 degree on a particular point in the south is just to prove the globe.
Gotcha. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Vikka, have you seen that footage of where a guy, he's in a pool, and the pool sides are made of glass, and it's like typical round shape, the pool outsides, but you can see his body is above the water, his head is above the water, and you can see that in one position, and then you see his body like from the side, you see the bottom
Yeah,
of
a
his
couple of
body.
feet, maybe a feet there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, more than a foot. It's like, it looks like it's like 5 feet away
It's
from
like
his body,
completely separated.
and it's completely tilted as well too.
Yeah.
It's not only moved in one direction, it's also tilted in another direction. And then they show it from the other side, and the same thing happens, but reversed. So, you know, I think we have a lot to understand about the refraction of the dome and in understanding what apparent means. You know, it doesn't mean that it's just a figment of your imagination or your eye. I mean, it's there, but it's in a different position than what it actually is. Apparent means ostensive. It means that its position is determined by the eye, but that doesn't mean that it's not a real thing or it's imaginary or like a rainbow. I mean, there is no, if you went outside and you looked at a rainbow, the rainbow is not really there. Like if you went to that location, like you're not going to find a pot of gold and a rainbow and a leprechaun. It's up to each person. If 10 people see a rainbow, that rainbow just exists in their eye.
Chris, I drove through a rainbow once with my family.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We
Wow.
were coming home, going north on the Jersey Turnpike on our way home from vacation down south. And, for 10 or 15 minutes, we were like, wow, look at that rainbow. And next thing you know, we're like, wow, look at this rainbow. And it was right in front of us. The next thing you know, we drove right through it. It was really, really strange. Like the colors in the cars changed ever so slightly.
Wow, that's incredible. I'd love to see footage of that. That'd be
yeah. Well, it was like 15 years ago, though. I don't even think we had real phones back then, like not what we have today. But
absolutely. Yeah, this is the thing, guys. Right? Yeah, I understand the concept of the apparent. Like even here, we are seeing apparent sun, right? We are seeing a sun at a different time zone, right? But somebody else seeing the same sun in another different time zone, and it's totally the opposite, like places and everything. I understand the concept of that, right? But I also understand that the sunlight or the daylight is possible, right? I also might even, if there are evidence that there might be a sun present for 24 hours in the sky, but it's not moving in 360 or moving in a straight line. I'm even open for that because it doesn't prove a globe, right? Going around in your circle on your head in the south only makes their argument that it's a globe, right? I understand the refraction and the possibilities and the way the constellation moves in the south and the way it can be seen from the different location in the south. I get that.
Yeah, well, I don't believe that their evidence proves anything. I think it's
really,
there's so much to understand about the shape of the dome, the amount of refraction, the whether we're seeing an apparent sun. There's so much more to understand about the sky and the sun. That their footage does not prove anything, as well as the fact that they're so sleazy, they're so dishonest, they lie so much. They've admitted to, you can lie if it's a good thing for a good cause. It's fine to lie. I mean, what kind of pastor says something like that? So to me, it's like when the whole media lied about Joe Biden, in his cognitive decline. They in their mind, they thought it's okay to lie because Donald Trump is so awful that it's fine to lie. It's no problem. It's a good thing. But this is the exact same thing that they're doing. With this footage, it's fine to lie. Because the Earth is a globe. We know it already. That's what they think.
Yeah.
So,
well, what I don't get, guys, is that when Will lied about it in the beginning. He was going on different people's shows, like,
Oh, I know.
there's this TFE thing. I wonder who it is. And then we found out right away, like right fucking away. Him and Jaron were like buddy. I seen that. I seen it, man. It was clear as day. And
And
I'm sure everyone else did. But
he had
what I
been
don't
friends with Mick too
understand,
for years.
right. Well, look, what I don't understand is why Jaron was so adamant that he wouldn't go and Austin went with him. Like, why? Why would you do that to your buddy? You know, if you suspect any foul play and the dude's already fucking lying, why would it be such a forceful thing to bring Austin along?
Well,
I don't get it.
I think Jaron was a shill from day one.
Right. Well,
he
could have
was
been
put into this movement
Yeah.
to try and
Mhm.
take it down. Like for I think he was the one that came up with no flat earther has ever gone back to the globe. I think he was the one that came up with that idea, you know, and he's the one that pushed it.
Projection.
Yeah.
Right. You know, so
Mhm.
that's foreshadowing his conversion. You know, he
Yeah.
wanted to cement the idea that no flat earther has ever gone back to the globe, so that when he went back to the globe, it'd be like, whoa, my God, we all must, you know, follow our guru. You know, Jaron went back to the globe, and
First time for everything.
Yeah.
yeah, well,
Like his gospel.
yeah, yeah, I think
Crazy.
because he was a drug salesman. He was he worked for a pharmacy, right?
I think
Before.
so. Yeah, like a Walgreens or
Sounds
CVS, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, well, to do that, to own a pharmacy, you're basically pushing drugs on people.
hmm
You know, I think that shady profession, you know, to say the least, you know.
Dude, that's the word that you just made me think
Yeah.
of something really quick. How the hell did we all not know about some people being investigated by the SEC? Or y'all might have. I just learned that today.
Who was investigated?
I don't know names. I didn't ask names, but you know, someone that's been in the movement for a while was saying that earlier, and I just that makes me think.
Yeah,
Dude,
the
with
thing
all
we're
the
trying to
with all the people backing out and jumping ship, I see now like how it could go hand in hand with an investigation of people getting the fuck out of Dodge. You know what I mean? But yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, it was all a pre-planned thing, right? The question was, why did Austin go, or why did Jaron took Austin, or right?
Mhm.
Maybe
Yeah,
it
that's
was
kind
for
of weird.
this, right? To because they knew that Jaron is gonna flip, so they have to have somebody to, like, keep the narrative going, right? Oh yeah,
Mhm.
right. But they want to push that what they found out it's real.
Mhm. Well, I think Vika, I think if once someone is monetized and they're lying to the community, that can be they can be held liable for whatever. So I think maybe if they're making money off something, it's basically they're making money off lying. So I think there's some kind of thing prohibiting that, or something that should be in place to stop that kind of action. Maybe that's why the SEC jumped in.
I don't know. Obama passed the law that was put in place in the 30s with the news stations, and it's called the Smith Modernization Act, and it basically makes Operation Mockingbird look like Disneyland. It gives them permission to do. They can completely create false scenarios and present it as real. That's basically what that gives
Oh, I
them the
see.
right to do.
If you work for them, like if you're in the group that's doing that,
Right.
like government wise, the government can't be held liable or something like
I
that.
don't know. Okay.
Yeah. If you deny
Yeah.
lies, they can arrest you for not believing their stuff,
Yeah,
That's
something.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think the director of the FE, I don't know, it was the CIA, the director of the CIA. What was his name? In 1981, he retired.
Talking about George Bush? No, not George Bush.
No. It was John Casey or I forget his name. But he said when he retired, a reporter asked him, how do you know that your work is done? And he said, I'll know my work is done when everything you believe is incorrect.
Yep.
And this guy was the director of the CIA. He wasn't like some, tinfoil hat wearing.
I know you're talking about
guy in his basement. I'll have to look up that quote, but find out his exact name. But incredible. Well, I think that's the CIA was created by Nazis when Operation Paperclip. Yeah, when they brought all the Nazis from Germany over to America, that's when they created the CIA and the NASA, and these were the smartest Nazis that we brought into our country.
Sure, we got all the best scientists, right. Military, the high-end military, all the best teachers.
And the Nazis were famous for propaganda,
And bro, two days before that agreement, we were ready to go kill all those guys. Right?
Well, I think that might have been the plan all along, that maybe they were meant to lose. Nazis were they were sort of like a media creation, kind of like Zelensky, and they were meant to lose in the long run. That's another story.
Hey, that's Drew just says he posted this quote. We will know our disinformation program is complete when everything the U.S. public believes is a lie.
Right, that's it. Correct. And
William Casey.
Yeah.
Well, damn, it looks like they're almost there, bro.
That's true.
I don't believe shit anymore.
Yeah, but I think they were there in the 80s. They were.
Yeah. Telling you, get a head full of nonsense.
This is also the thing, guys. So after all this show and whatever is going to come out now with the documentary and all this stuff, so Mr. Austin was also saying that he has a lot of better things to do than being a flat earther. He's having so much greater opportunity to be on bigger platforms and even TV, right? But he's sacrificing it for the flat earth. This is what he's saying after presenting the bullshit, and now coming after 6 months, 2 goes, 3 people goes as representing flat earther, 1 flips, 1 go haywire, doesn't appear for 6 months, and the other chick, she's gone too. Come and believe me now, after 6 months, I can do better things, much better things at higher level, but I'm here doing flat earth. Trust me.
That was Witz that said that? Are you talking about Witz?
Yeah. Well, that's the title of the show, brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, bro. Witz just recently did a YouTube live, calling it the. He called it breaking his silence. So does that mean he has not been doing anything? Because I haven't been watching.
Well, no, he hasn't done anything. He's done like 2 shows in the last 6 months, and I think one of those shows was completely not about flat Earth at all. It was about something else. To me, he's not the same person at all. he doesn't act the same. I remember when he came back, he looked so drugged out. Like he, I think now he's recovered, but
He might have just been spent from the traveling there and back.
maybe.
Traveling is rough, man. For me it is. A lot of people say the same thing. It's just it's a drag. It's hard sitting around. Planes are not comfortable. You're in a different time zone by the time you get there. Often, it's just difficult. So
So if you watch that show that he did, but is he still a flat earther?
That's what he's saying. Yeah.
Okay.
He claims to
Yeah.
be. That's a good thing. I mean, that's a positive. But I was on Discord yesterday, and he also said that within a couple of days he was going to release his, or maybe it was the guy that the globe earther that went down there. He's getting a hold of a consistent 25-hour video. I don't know if it's 360 footage. He didn't really go into detail, but I did hear him say that. So maybe we'll get to look at something. Now, I don't know if people are good with video editing softwares or stuff like that, but I'm sure you could download it and look at the original, codes and stuff like that to see if it's been tampered with.
Well, the problem with 360 footage is that 100% it's going to be digitally altered because that process is done in the camera. It takes a photograph all around it and digitally combines it and stitches it together so that it forms some kind of 360. But it's all manipulated, like normally it'd be done through lenses, but now they can do that through digital manipulation right in the camera.
Well, you're going to see then, if it's done like that, you're going to see where it folds as it's moving. It'll fold itself around itself, basically like a curved at the edges, at the extremities, and flat in the middle, right? Something like that.
Yeah, well, it's going to be completely warped and like we're used to a traditional camera, which has a one static image, and 360 footage is going to not be that at all. It's going to be completely different. So
what would have been smart if they would have done this? Put back to back, not lens to lens, but back to back 4 cameras, one facing in each cardinal direction, right? And then set it up where they're taking photos like, I don't know, like 10 per second or something like that, like a shitload of them, without stitching them together, and just see what it looks like.
You could just use a traditional camera and do the same thing. Take a photograph every 10 seconds of one, and they put that on the what do they call it? The
like a panoramic.
Yeah. It does it automatically that way. I think it
instead of a circle, it's just one straight line. And I put some stuff like that. I found a guy that's a photographer that stays down in Antarctica seasonally, and he has some really good footage. He took 1 picture per hour for 24 hours, and it wasn't a circle, it was just straight across. And this is where I've seen the sun. When it goes up, it's going a little bit closer to you. And at the apex, and when it starts to go down and back around, that picture looked further away. The sun was further away. And the same process over and over. That's why I said it looks like kind of a corkscrew down there.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? So the video they brought back the sun was like, I don't know, it was doing something funny where it didn't look like the pictures I was looking at from the guy that's seasonal down there. But he has all kind of time. Yeah.
I wish that one of the flat earthers they brought to that trip was an actual photographer. Like Jay Tolan, somebody who had all the equipment and really understood photography. Jared and Winsett, they talk a good game, but they know nothing about photography. They're not photographers at all. They're not technical or photographers or I think they were the two worst people they could have brought there. If
Absolutely, I'll second that.
Yeah, I think we might have mentioned that once or twice too. Told
Oh yeah,
them
they
a
were the
great choice
worst
to
people.
bring.
There are many more people who were much more would have been like,
qualified.
as you guys say, like with skills to do some real science, right?
Yeah,
There are
well,
even cameras where have you guys seen those images of cameras taken by for the star trails, and you can see the whole
yeah,
sky.
yeah.
Even
Yes.
that
Yep.
would have freaking helped, dude.
Yeah, but the only
Yeah.
thing Jaron brought down with him was a joint. I heard.
Yeah, really.
Damn.
I mean, what kind of science are you doing when you make
Man.
sure you're
and
bringing
and
weed into Antarctica?
and the other
That
hitting the
was his
wave,
goal, to smoke weed in
yeah.
Antarctica.
Oh yeah, and the other hitting the wave, and the wave have every flavors.
Yeah.
I could see it now. He'd be like, "Hey, bro, dude, look at the sun, man. It's a football, dude. It looks like God threw a football across the sky, man." I'm joking. No, yeah, that'd be fun though to smoke a joint down there. I would think. Yeah. Yeah. So I was going to say, guys, I'm probably going to jump off here in a few, but when I get my podcast up and going, I got the logo, I've got it trademarked and copyrighted and all that stuff, and I'm going to drop some bombshells, man. Some very in-depth, informative, like type of information that's is gonna maybe surprise some people, But yeah, hopefully that'll
Good
be in
luck,
the
bro.
next month. I'll
Congratulations.
have it started. Yeah, thanks, man, for sure.
Good.
Hey, like I say last time, all y'all are invited, man. Y'all come and chill on the podcast with me. So.
Yeah, well, can you drop the link of your channel in the
Yep.
chat?
I sure can. Yeah, no, I can't. I've already got like 1,500 videos since like 2014 or something like that. So there's a lot of stuff already on there on my playlist, but I haven't did anything live yet. So, but yeah, I'll drop it in the private chat back here.
Okay.
Oh no. So yeah, no real science was coming out of these two people. All right. Yeah, many different kind of other cameras and like could have helped. Right. Adding. He had this camera where he had the how do you call it, the infrared camera, converted camera. He didn't use freaking that too. Right. With different compasses, even drawing on the floor, the directions, right? Flags, spend a little bit of money, some flags.
Yeah, well, I don't think Jaron even brought an actual compass to Antarctica. He just had the app on his phone. You would think that, I watch Solve all the time, eh? He has that show and he has the actual compass. You can. I mean, they're only like $5, or if you can get a really good one, they're like $20. But he didn't even bring that with him. You think that somebody would have brought an actual compass? No, he brought his the phone, because there's an app on his phone. That's like
Computerized.
looking up whether stuff on Google or Wikipedia. Using an app on your phone. It's why not get the real thing? I mean, we're not talking like it costs $10,000 for a compass. We're talking it's $20, if that.
Hey, Chris, I think, and everyone here probably knows this already, but I'm going to say it just in case the chat, has never heard of it. There's something called magnetic declination, right?
Yeah, I know.
And right below the tip at Ross Island and South America, Did you guys know that the declination there is 179 degrees?
Yeah.
So it would be very confusing to know where you're at in a plane or the compass, because the thing's going to turn you right back around. It's going to look like you're going north when really you're still heading south. So they could have been taken somewhere else where they could see a 24-hour sun, like, Ross Island.
Exactly.
Nowhere close to the 80th parallel, in my opinion. I'm not saying that's what happened, but if it did, then you would definitely see a 24-hour sun there. Yeah. Crazy.
Awesome. Just the water showing level with the compass. Yeah. Like somebody was mentioning here, like he was hold the compass even upside down. Like, to forget about doing real science with this.
Yeah, he couldn't even hold the compass the right way. That's bad.
Well, he was stoned.
Right.
Oh yeah, and burning a ticket or burning a paper. This is the science he was doing there.
He was doing NASA science.
Holy crap. That's hilarious, man.
Something was wrong. They were doing something wrong. There's no doubt. They weren't doing anything. And we don't know where they went. You're right. Who knows? We don't got a clue.
Hey guys, check out this little compass. This is used in my I took it out of my last car. And
Okay.
I don't know if you can see it from here, but that way is west, this way is north, because you can look at the south, right? Because if you're supposed to look, right? So you're looking from this way, I see N, this way is S, but that way is south, right? But now it's picking up the magnet in my speaker. So it's shifting.
Shit, yeah. It can mess it up. That's a great example, Gene.
Right?
That's a great example, bro.
They could have done that in the plane.
Man, and I've talked about declination a shitload over the course of a few months, and it is a reasonable argument that even if they, the pilots or whoever were showing them, look, this is where we're heading. It could have been just full of shit. Maybe that's why ALE is stationed in right in the area where the declination is all fucked up and warped. Maybe that's the trick they play on them.
Also, if there was a fake sun that was used, I'm sure that would put off some kind of EM radiation that would be that would screw up the compass. And so another proof that they could have done was shown a 24-hour compass, taking readings multiple times a day for 24 hours to show that wasn't the case. That, but of course they didn't do that. So
they're really super sensitive. Like a compass really should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, guys, that we would have to go anywhere else in the South. We would have to be a citizen of that country. That's why they only take Americans to that one spot. And there's only one company that does it out of like 3 or 4, and that includes like cruises and all that. Like different companies are stationed only in certain parts of Antarctica. So we're very limited unless we move out of the country, or go to the north or something, But yep.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing if that company is still around in 5 years, or if it was something that was just done for this excursion. They might have been planning this for 5 years. Ever since Flat Earth became popular, they could have had this plan in place, and they created this company to do that, you know. So in 5 years, they would have no need for this company anymore, and it would be, you know, it'll go bankrupt. But if it's still around in 5 years, I'll be impressed. I don't think it will be.
Yeah, all could be just studio manipulation.
Wait, RG, what were you saying about being a citizen of Antarctica?
No, it, say there's sections, right? Different countries have their military bases there and they do their research, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not a citizen of that area or that country, like Brazil or New Zealand, right? And then going around like the Chinese bases, the Russian bases, like you have to be a citizen of that country to go to that part of Antarctica. Yeah.
Really?
Ah, I see what you were saying. Yeah, I got you.
Yes.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's why we're limited in where we can go.
So look at how much that shuts everybody off.
That's a good point. That
Mhm.
prevents travel.
Yeah.
That's pretty nuts.
Yeah, and there's a laundry list of things that different countries say you can and can't take along with you. So yeah, the treaty basically separates for scientific purposes, right? So in the name of science, you can only bring science related things to test with, you know, or photography or whatever. But you can't just bring like, you know, what to say, like a raft or something for rivers, like, you know, even if you wanted to sleep in your own raft, they won't let you bring something crazy like that.
Yeah, and you got to pay how much money to put that application in too, RG?
Yeah, and you got to have the insurance money.
Yeah,
liability.
We were talking last week or the week before about how much it costs. It could cost you like $50,000 to go climb Mount Everest and applications and all said and done. Not cheap.
Yeah, they make a lot of money.
You can't just walk over there and go do that.
Oh, speaking of walking, how about these maps? Have y'all seen the clip where this woman is like she catches some people right at the border, and you know, seen him walking a group of men. She was like, "Hey, where are you from?" He was like, "India." "Where are you from?" "Pakistan." "Where are you from?" "Bangladesh." You know, and she was like, "Oh, did you fly over here? You know, did you fly over and get dropped off and walk to America?" He's like, no, only walking. She was like, no. Did you bring a plane? Did you fly over? No, just walk. She was like, trying to put two and two together. She's like, how can you walk from India to America without going in the ocean? He said, no, only walk. We all walk. It's fucking crazy, man. Are our maps even close to being right? I don't know, man. I'm seriously doubting a lot of things now.
Yeah, look at the globe, bro. The globe has half of it is the ocean. Like 80-90% of the entire half is all ocean. A little bit of land on top and bottom. That's crazy. It's nuts. There's got to be other land out there, I think.
I think so
A
too.
lot of it's no-fly zone. We don't have the you know, the resources, the type of engines to get back and forth. You'd have to have, you know, barrels full of diesel fuel to fuel your boat to get back and forth. Can you sail? Maybe.
Yeah, that could be one of the reasons why they don't want to let us have flying cars, because we could, you know, fly across the ocean ourselves,
right? Or airships.
Map stuff ourselves, and see that they're wrong in their maps. You know.
Yeah, but they would have, like, you know, just like highways here, and the highways in the air. You have to travel certain lanes. You know, you have to. You're not really allowed to just go do what you want. You got to tell the air traffic controllers where you're located, and they got to give you permission to do anything. You know, when I was flying around the Verrazano probably 20 years ago in a little Cessna, we had to get permission for that. He had to get permission. Told him exactly what we were doing. We're going to do a few loops. We're just over here hanging out. Because that's where I lived. I wanted to go fly over my neighborhood. And he had to call all of it in. Everything we did. If he wanted to go to a certain altitude, he had to call it in.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. You're clear to go.
That's how airplanes fly. There's highways in the sky.
Yep.
And they're very strict about maintaining those.
They really are, bro. I don't know what would have happened if, you know, like we were flying north-south. We were flying south to get there. And it's right turn red. Right return red. So you know whether a plane is in front of you, traveling towards you, or traveling with you. You know what I mean? By the lights. And you're not allowed to just go on the other side. You can't. You can, yeah, but you know, they come get you. That's some of the very heavily guarded airspace in the world over Manhattan.
Yeah.
So I don't want to talk about flying over Manhattan too much, but you can't just go do what you want over there.
Yeah,
or I guess anywhere, really, I would imagine.
There's a misconception that people have that a pilot will get on the plane in New York City and he'll bring out some kind of map and he'll navigate his way to Los Angeles or Buenos Aires, wherever he's going.
No.
But they don't navigate anything. It's all pre-planned routes, and they have to maintain exact coordinates and exact, everything is done for them, and if they veer away from that pre-planned route, they're going to be in trouble.
Be shut down.
Yeah. They're going to have air traffic control communicate with them.
Right.
What's the matter? What are you doing? What's going on? Are you okay?
Exactly. Like, go up, go down, right? And it's all also, it's the VOR, right? It's called VOR. It's pre-planned routes. And they can feed in different, it's like waypoints to your destination from one tower to another, to another, to another. That's how the planes navigate, right? And they have to feed it in the computer before which VORs they're going to jump from. VORs could be seen as like when we see those maps on the water, we see a 1 point and there is 360 lines going in every direction, right? These are like highways on the sea and in the air.
Yeah, well, I don't think an airline pilot uses a map at all to navigate.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, there's no way to tell what the ground's doing, where you really are. You can tell some lakes maybe, or there's a mountain over there. You don't know where you are.
It's a radio signals, guys. Oh yeah, it's a radio signals they're following that create those lines, which is emitted in 360 degree from every tower.
Right.
That works as highways and lines, imaginary lines, right?
There's no navigation at all, Yeah, but
like Nathan Thompson calls them babysitters.
Yeah, they are. But these globers think that they actually pull out a globe model and actually plot out the course of where they're going, and they don't do anything like that.
The guy I was flying with didn't do any of that. He was talking to air traffic control, and they told him what to do.
Yeah, well, I don't think even cruise ship captains, or if you're a captain of an oil tanker, I don't even think they use maps. They have it's the same thing. They have a pre-planned route, and they just go along the course.
Exactly.
They don't,
what
they
are you
just
going to
do what they're
map out
told.
in the ocean anyway?
What's that?
It's called EGDIS, Electronic Chart Display Information System. It's like pre-planned routes for ships. It's like digital charts in the sea.
Yeah, there's somebody navigating,
Nah.
Like it's 1850 or something like that, No, they it's all been done for you, They just hit a button and you make sure you stay on the course,
Hey, Vic, I think I've got to drop, you guys. I've just been waiting for a minute to get out of here. But thanks for bringing me up. I've got to run. I got some things I've got to do here in a little bit. So thanks for coming up. Let me talk a little bit, and good to see you guys again. So I got to go, Vikka. I'm sorry.
Thanks,
Alrighty, Tron.
Good to
No
see you.
Thanks for
problem.
coming up,
Yeah.
brother.
I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for bringing me up. Sorry I wasn't too talkative, but I've been tired the whole time.
No worries, bro. Thanks for
I've got-
passing by.
Thank you. And I've got to do some things. I'll just, I'm out of here. You guys be good. I appreciate you. Y'all have a good one. How do I get?
Oh yeah.
You too, bro.
Peace.
Oh yeah. The globe has nothing in no in aviation, no in marines, right? In trajectories, in weapons, nothing, right?
Yeah, I'm still waiting to see the globe actually be used for anything. You know,
Mind control.
Yeah, that's the only thing it does. Mind control.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold
Good for
water.
decoration.
It
So
doesn't
many-
navigate. You don't use it for navigation. You don't use it for demonstration. It doesn't have, planets aren't able to circuit it, or it doesn't hold water to it. Yeah, it's not very useful. So,
No, any part of the globe that we're looking for can't be found. Any of the motion, any of the curve.
well, I saw a program where they were talking about how they actually make the globe, and they showed the process. What they do is they take a rectangular map and they actually carve it out. They carve out huge portions of oceans to make it fit in the globe. That's what they do. And people are saying, "Oh, that's reality. That's." And I'm like, really? They just carve out, like hundreds of miles of ocean to make it fit out there and make it look all nice and pretty. And then these globers are like, "Well, that's reality. That's." I'm like, "No, I don't think so." That's just a toy, and it has no useful purpose. I mean, it looks good in your office. You can impress people, I guess, but it has no use. So
Yeah. No, it's gonna have. That's why they cannot. They have to do mental gymnastics, right? All these globe defenders in everywhere. You have to come up with some excuse and mental gymnastic. And when they come, they will just say, "Oh, this is fake. This is lie. This is right." They are literally denying real hard evidence and devices and everything. And they want to speak about things that you cannot really prove, right? This is also the reason of this same bullshit TFE, right? Do real fucking science, no? Right? That can prove. You talk shit that you cannot prove, and you do shit that you cannot prove.
yeah, well,
That's the reason.
that's one of the things I've been looking for is real science. And in 10 years, I haven't found anything on the globe side that even resembles science. People claim that all the time that that they have. I remember when we first started talking about flat Earth, all the globers like, well, we have the whole body of science. I'm like, oh, great. Well, name one thing, and they can't. It just falls apart. They see a few, lines. They have the surface level. They, but when you go anywhere deeper, it just completely falls apart. And now they don't even mention science. Now you get people like Jared saying, "Oh, science doesn't prove things."
You say that?
Yeah. It's the complete opposite of what they were saying 10 years ago. Before it was like,
Doesn't prove it. Well,
the
he's
whole
kind of
body of
right.
science proves the globe, and now they're like, science doesn't prove anything.
Oh man. Ooh. Talk about wanting it both ways.
Yeah, well, I think we've dispelled that myth that it's just belief. There's nothing scientific about it. I mean, it is a religion. They still try and deny that, but it really is.
It's just God hating people. You need way more blind faith to believe that stuff than you do in a creator.
They make fun of us for believing in the Bible, but really, the thing that should be made fun of is believing in globe Earth. In evolution, and I mean, there's nothing backing it. The Big Bang theory. It's just all speculation. It's all, when they say like, oh, the universe is 13.7 billion years old, and then you find out that, well, that number comes from Jewish mysticism. It's the 137 is the 33rd prime number, and
Funny.
Now they change it to 13.8. Because we caught on to we caught on to 137. What that means. So now they say, oh no, it's 13. Like they actually did a test and measured. Oh, we were off by 100 billion years, and
Well, it's like the angle you were talking about before. It's 23.5 now. It used to be 23.4.
Yeah.
So they changed that recently too. They changed how much a pound of material costs to go to space. Used to be like $10,000 10 years ago. It's like 2,000 now. I think they need to make that a little more realistic.
Yeah, they keep adapting things. Like remember when they went to the moon, it was 237,000 miles, right?
To the moon, right?
And now they say it's no, it's but if you mention that, they'll be like, oh, no, it's 243,000. Or
well, I think it's average because it moves back and forth, allegedly.
Yeah, they keep changing it.
You can't put your finger on it. You move the goalposts all the time, man. You can't put your finger on any of it hardly.
Well, this way they can never be wrong, They keep adapting it, and they're like, it's like the never-ending story, It just keeps evolving, and it's like a fishtail,
Yeah.
Keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and better.
Caught a fish,
but it's really nothing,
Yep.
It's a bunch of hot air.
Yeah, but they, like you said too, though, they got all that money. They got the narrative. This is a tough hill to climb, bro. It's not easy.
Yeah.
And she was, I was at an alumni game with my son watching, and knew a bunch of people there. Everybody's hey, blah blah blah. One of the women was now a substitute teacher in there, and we were at the elementary school, and I wanted to talk to her about the globes and all that, and I just was like, nah, I can't be bothered, not right now. I didn't even want to hear it at the time. You know what I mean? I was just like, who cares?
Well, I think that's what I think that's a good thing. People don't want to talk about the globe anymore because they know they have nothing to back it up. And so they don't want to talk about anything about flat Earth or the globe. They just want to drop, just not talk about it, because they know there's like nothing there. So.
Oh yeah, guys, and also one thing I wanted to mention about the whole this breaking the silent shit is also now they're speaking about that they're going to debate between each other. Two guys who went there, they're going to debate between each other.
Are you talking
Yeah,
about Austin versus Jaron?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like another shit show, right? To for what, right?
Well, I think they're going to debate about not about what they saw, but whether or not it proves a globe. I think Jared would be like, "No, this 100% proves a globe," and Austin will be like, "No, that doesn't prove anything." You know.
Exactly.
So
So the electric thing is the same. Traffic. That's the real thing. Yeah.
I look forward to that debate. You know.
Yeah, so do I. I would definitely be interested in watching that live.
Dude, are you guys really kidding, right? Do you guys really think you're gonna get some truth out of there? You guys really
Nah,
might be
I,
joking, right?
I just want to
Holy
watch it
shit! It
unfold. I
like it
want to
have
see
to
how it
be
goes.
such a scripted bullshit.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
two known friends becoming globe. What's this? Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. This is all. It's all just for the, as the people is saying, views, traffic. Yep.
Well, I think Jared really needs the people because I remember when he first came out, his shows were like around over 1,000 people were watching a show
Yeah, his
live.
chats were busy, bro.
And someone said
10 years
earlier
ago.
that his chat it's now around 100 people. You know, even 6 months ago, I can remember his shows. He was getting around 300 to 400 people watching an episode live, and now he's down to 100. He must be hurting really bad.
Well, that's
You know,
because all the flat earthers are now Glovers. Right? We lost a lot of people because of the final experiment, you know.
Dude, he should blow up. Exactly. He should freaking blow up. The day he
Yeah.
became Glober, he should be have 1 million subscriber. He should have.
You should have a lot of old flat earthers saying, yeah, you're backing him up with all this other stuff too.
yeah.
But maybe he is. I don't know. I don't watch him, but it's not what I heard.
Well, I think no matter what position he takes down, people are going to be like, not believe anything he says. So, you know, I think it looks really bad on him. I think he thought he was going to be honest. Oh, going back to the globe, but it backfired on him. You know, I think that the people just don't trust anything he says at all now. So
Yeah, same goes for Austin too.
yeah, well, it's going to hurt him definitely. You know,
No, it's
but
already, and that's now he's thinking that now after 6 months waking up, it's gonna change, right? The comments is gonna say, the comments is gonna say what the people think, right?
well, I still have hope for Austin. You know, I think he's going to be able to work his way out of it. You know, so I think he's
Yeah,
in a little
because
bit of a hole.
oh
But
yeah,
you
because
know,
there's not any scarcity of stupid people for sure, for sure. That is the reason they get till here and still have something to do. That is the reason, brother.
yeah.
Because if you cannot freaking with people, you're doing these kind of projects for a decade and you can't even realize that well you were being freaking played. Come on, bro. And to not only Austin, everybody who's around.
Well, we'll see when that movie comes out. You know, if it ever does come out. I mean, how long are they going to wait to bring that movie out? You know,
Yeah, exactly.
they
What's
must have
taking
to
them
do
so long too?
more CGI on the footage.
What
You know?
if it's live, raw, unedited footage? What's taking them 6 months? What's taking them 6 weeks?
Well, I
I
think
mean, I
they're
know the
going to
clock's ticking faster, but come on, guys.
they're going to include in that film whatever the flat Earth community says about it. You know, so it's going to be like the first 10 minutes is going to be like, here's what we saw, and the rest of it is going to be like what we all said about it. You know,
Oh, garbage. Oh, man. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't do anything and it just fades away into nothing, like it already is.
Oh, it could be. It could fail already. Well,
Like, what are they going to do? 6 months? What are they going to do it next year? When are they going to release it? When is it going to be like?
I heard that. Doesn't Will have isn't he in trouble with the courts? He has to for fraud or something like that.
Yeah, a couple times from what I understand. So, right, does that make any sense? The guy's getting, he's in all kind of financial trouble, but he wants to pay people, he wants to pay for people to go to Antarctica. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, well, I think for sure he had someone backing him. Somebody with money.
He should have said that then, because he looks like a liar. If he's having financial issues and wants to pay for people, like this, who pays for people to go to Antarctica? Why is it so important? Yeah, I'm going to court for 2 or 3 different $200,000 cases, but you know what? I'm going to send these guys to Antarctica because I need to, I have this drive. It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, he probably has backing. He might have taken a deal. It's a big deal that people are waking up. They gave us the internet.
Yeah, for sure, Gene. Instead of investing in a Hollywood movie about a romance or a sci-fi just like that, this was another kind of inversion. You are doing an inversion on some project that in the end, for sure, money is the main reason you are there. Even putting in one dime, right?
Mm.
Money is gonna be the first purpose. After whatever comes. For good for the globe, the light, the fame, the whatever, right? The traffic, whatever, right? This is all other bonuses, but the main is always going to be to multiply at least 3 times the inversion minimum.
Yeah, well, Elon Musk, he just retired from Doge, so now he's going to go back to SpaceX and Neuralink, and but I remember he promised, we're going to go to Mars, we're going to go to the moon, we're all going to have chips in our brains. That's another nothing burger. I think none of that's going to ever happen.
Well, he's claiming, he's claiming right now that that car, the Roadster, is orbiting Mars.
Yeah, right.
That's what he's saying. Him and Joe Rogan did a podcast together like a couple months ago, and the two of them were like trying, like I don't know if they were trying to hold back their laughter, but they were like giggling like 2 little kids talking about Elon Musk and his space expeditions, and they were like,
that's the one where Elon was smoking a joint, right?
Nah, that I didn't see that. I saw that a long time ago. The one I'm talking about was pretty recently, like within the last few months. It was pretty new. Maybe right before Doge, so maybe less new than I'm thinking, but it was after the joint thing.
Yeah, well, I think he might know that it's all fake.
Oh yeah, who? Joe Rogan?
Elon.
Wouldn't he have to? I think he has to know it's fake.
Yeah, I think so. I think he knows that he's putting on a show.
Yeah, he has, and so does Rogan know, because if Rogan didn't know, he would be asking better questions to really kind of get answers out of him, but he don't. So he asked him. He stopped short. He's a gatekeeper. He looks good.
Well,
He's like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna ask him all the hard questions. Bullshit. He doesn't ask no hard questions. No, he doesn't.
Do himself bubbles. Yeah, the word firmament came out of Elon's mouth one time that I know of. I forget who was interviewing him, but he said, "Yeah, nothing will get past the firmament." And then he kind of chuckled, like yeah, to make it look like he was trolling. You know what I mean? But I think he knows.
Right, or else he wouldn't have said something like that.
Yeah. Do you remember when he said he was going to go to the moon, and he was going to take 8 or 12 CGI artists to the moon?
Why?
They were all artists.
Why not real artists?
But I think that was him saying that he knew that any kind of trip to the moon would involve CGI artistry. You know, they would have to digitally create it, and you know, I think it was that was his inside nod to, of course, we can't go to the moon. You know, so
well, I'd like to see somebody ask him about Werner von Braun's book called Project Mars, with the leader of the group being called Elon.
Yeah,
when people, when people they're colonizing Mars in the future, and the project manager is Elon. Hey, come on, stop! This is terrible. This is bad.
Do you know the story about that? That when Tesla died, Donald Trump's uncle, he worked for the FBI, and
Uncle John.
and supposedly he Tesla had a book on time travel, and Donald Trump's uncle stole that book, and he's been using it to you know, I don't know. I have no idea whether that's true or not, but you know, it could be. You know?
Yeah, and but the bigger problem for me is look who did that, Trump. So that blows that whole theory of, oh, he's an outsider or whatever. No, he's not. He is not. So that's, you can take that for what you want.
Tesla,
you guys know
right?
how. Go ahead. Vikka.
Just the Tesla, he understood the RAM very well. That's why all of his invention worked, because he understood how this RAM works, right? So for sure, there's a possibility of he making things, and these guys like all stealing all that shit and hiding all that shit, and free energy and resonance, levitation, and many other things, right? And even communication technology, radio, the radar, right? Everything, most of the thing was patented because of Tesla, right? So what else they could be hiding, right? They are still hiding a lot by not really giving us the real free energy technologies, right? The so-called anti-gravity, right? The globals are so lost in their gravity space sauce that they're gonna think that one day they're gonna have anti-gravity. They don't understand that this technology exists right now. It's not just because it's gravity, this resonance frequencies and levitations, right? Which is possible in this realm, right?
I think so. From what I've seen, they had the patent office recently, well, within the last year, I think, year and a half maybe, the patent office was busted for inside memos that they had a list that what not to accept. And like free energy was on there, creating almost like alchemy, like transmuting things into other usable products, stuff like that. Yeah, and they got busted. I wish I'll have to dig in and look for it, but I thought that was one thing. But there are two things I'm excited about with technology now. There's this young man who is turning plastic into usable fuel. I don't know if y'all seen that. That and what's the other one? Oh yeah, the guy in Africa that created a TV, a motorcycle, and a car that runs off the ether. It transmutes that into usable energy. So that's two things that I hope spread. But I think people are tired of big oil and shit like that and their regulations. I mean, who do they see us as? Obviously, if they want to do that and keep technology from us and punish those who are using their minds to better the world, right? Then they don't see us as shit, man. And I take that as personal in a way. If I wanted to create something right now with plasma and magnets, right, in whatever, and transmute that into usable energy, I mean, they would have a big fit about it. You know what I mean? Oh, the FDA this, oh, the rules here, the rules there, you can't go here, you can't do this. it's like, okay, I see it. And you print your own money and we can't print our own money. You see how they do us, man. It's really fucked up. And I think, I'm just gonna land it there, brother. I'll
Because
get
the
off my
majority,
soapbox.
because yeah, brother, because the majority is sleeping and believes in the globe, and that one day that they're gonna be the future, gonna have some this kind of technology, right? Because if the people know the real how the realm is, people are gonna question, and people are gonna say that this technology needs to come out and be more public, right? That is the reason they want to push just electric or combustion technology for moving, right? There's many more.
Yeah, well, did you hear that Donald Trump, he approved a plan to start rebuilding nuclear plants all across the USA?
Great.
Ever since 1978, I think they were saying there was 140 nuclear plants, or some obscene amount of nuclear plants.
What could
And
go
when
wrong?
3 Mile Island happened, and then they stopped building nuclear plants. And I think ever since 1978, they've only built 2 nuclear plants. But now that Donald Trump, he wants to like build like 30 nuclear plants, or some obscene amount. So I think I've heard that they call it
That's
Plasticine.
ridiculous.
The guy who it looks good.
Plastiline and plastidiezel.
Yeah,
He just recently made diesel, and runs a whole lot cleaner than gas station fuels.
Yeah, well, I think that he's already talking about. He made a video about somebody loosening the lug nuts on his car. They were all loose. So he's talking about that he might be disappeared and or suicided.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially in the U.S., I think that's a real concern. All the big oil companies might.
Did you say someone loosened the lug nuts on Tesla's vehicle?
Well, no, and the guy who invented plasticine.
Plastiline. Yep.
Yeah, plastiline. It turns plastic into usable gas.
Yeah, there's a couple guys out there doing that.
Yeah, his car. It's like some cheap car. Someone was saying they loosened the lug nuts on his car.
Really?
Yeah.
If he was smart, he would, patent it, or just give the plans to a shitload of people, like a bunch of people, like thousands, and just let them make their own. And then, we just buck the system,
Yeah, what he's doing now, he just has his own laboratory, and he's done this in his lab, and now he's in. I think he's based in Seattle, and he's announcing it to everyone. Like it's going to be he's claiming it's going to be the next big thing. Yeah, but I think he should be quiet and
really
start building a factory. And start like it's going to be harder to get rid of it. If this idea is that great, and then you have like 100,000 people that are already using this technology, then he could start promoting it. I think he's looking for a little bit of fame right now, and that's not good for him.
Yeah. How do you do something like that under the rug without people noticing? They gotta, you're alone in your house. You're probably on 12 cameras.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think what most people do is make it public, so there's more eyes on him and more eyes on his product, and you're less likely to, have a quote unquote accident, and run off the road or something. But it's kind of smart in a way, but then again, there are what do they call them? Black ops people.
Mm-hmm.
That are, I would imagine, very quiet in their work, what they do.
Well, I think the one thing holding him back is that I think it's very expensive to actually distill. In his process, he turns the plastic into this kind of mush, and then he has to distill the mush. So it's very much like alcohol,
Right.
how they,
Distillery.
and I think the distilling process is, it might work for like vodka where, you can make a small amount, but they have to make vast amounts of gasoline, I mean, billions of gallons every day,
Yeah.
So, I mean, could something like that be, maybe you would have to improve the technology in distilling or,
Well, I would
what,
think he
though,
would set
Chris?
up something like recycling, like people bring their plastic or drop them off at, he could have like a truck service that would, included with what he's doing, so that way he can get all the plastics daily or whatever weekly supplies to
Well,
then have enough to distill. But go ahead. Yeah.
you know what, though? If they can make it out of plastic, which is, artificial components, they could probably do it before the plastic's artificial components instead of recycling it. In other words, so they could probably do it out of part of
maybe.
what plastic's made out of already. Right? Instead of
It's
recycling it.
petrol. It's petrol based, right? So it's already half the.
Really?
Yeah, but I think what he's trying to do is we have billions of tons of used plastic that is filling up garbage sites all over the world.
It's forever too,
including like that whole ocean in the middle of the Pacific.
Yeah.
It's full of plastic, and
the garbage patch.
When they talk about global warming, I don't think that's a real threat. But when you talk about plastic, how it breaks down and it goes into the environment and it infects everything. It's in all of our food. It's in all of our products. People,
all the animals.
Yeah, if any person that tests their blood, they're going to be have microplastics and forever chemicals in their body. So I mean, I think that's more of an issue than something like global warming.
That's probably not an issue. Actually, global warming, it's just kind of fabricated for scare tactics.
Because if there's no globe, there's no But we should we have to take care with that word. Because they really.
Yeah, I don't believe that. But
they will
everybody knows about chemtrails, right?
Plastic is a real problem.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah.
But, I can't imagine they didn't know that, and that could be why they introduced it. Because they don't do anything good, and I kind of think that whatever sickness they have, they probably get the sicknesses from the cures. In my imagination, because they have to be able to get themselves healthy, because they can't just spray everybody, right? Or they just a completely different version of humans that don't get sick like we do. So there's something weird there. I think they have the cures first, or else they wouldn't be trying to get us sick. Because if they got sick, they get sick too. Then they're not. They get the token one every once in a while. Oh, this one got that, whatever. Yeah, okay, fine. We're dropping like flies. They're not.
Well, when they get when they were trying to fool us with CO-19, yeah, that was a patent for both a cure and the disease, or virus, whatever you want to call it.
Oh yeah, we have to take care with the hot words, guys. Yeah, if no, you guys are going too much in the
I got
conspiracy.
my bad.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, technologies, right? They have every kind of technologies to screw us, right? For sure.
Really? and protect themselves at the same time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the G5 and there are many other things. Yeah, they're controlling.
Mm.
Yeah, but it could be for also like for the coming blue beam and all this stuff. They are done like dumbing the people so much that they can like go away with anything in the future to show like an alien invasion and everything else, right? So it's just going in that direction, and it's gonna be so cheesy than the guy, more cheesy than what you guys mentioned before about the C and B and all this stuff, right? It's gonna be much more cheesier if that was like right, and many are gonna freaking believe it, and they're gonna take advantage of that and even blow up places, like right. So and now with the AI and everything, it's gonna be freaking really difficult. What is really happening? What is going on? And what is people thinking? Right? Already we are on that level of disinformation and AI and fakeness and things coming out. Like it would be so difficult to filter out reality with what's happening. If it was already hard in this last decade that the manipulators have made sure that the indoctrinated stays indoctrinated and the rest don't wake up, and the one who are trying to wake up or helping to wake up to suppress them. If all that was going on, now they have technology, and this is freaking nothing. These people are ahead of us 50, 100 years, right? They're giving us breadcrumbs with some screens in our hand, and right where we can think we are seeing the world. And yeah, so for sure, much more exists to that in all for the control, for that the stage, the performance, the incidents, and everything goes, because nothing is going to be a casualty. Everything is scripted. What is going to come true, and it's going to be always more difficult. Sorry, guys, go ahead.
Well, I know something that is advancing, the DEWs and this Golden Dome. What's y'all's opinion on that? Because I'm just thinking, it's like coverage from above, these platforms they have up there and stuff, on balloons or whatever, however they're up there. They're definitely up there. Man, not a fear tactic, but listen, what is the Golden Dome and how does it operate? Does anyone else know much about that?
I don't.
It looks. Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
I have no idea what it is. I've heard a lot about it, but it seems like a giant waste of money. I think they're talking about spending $175 billion on constructing this. And I think the concept is so out of date because if they build this, let's say they actually could do this. If they build a dome where no missile attack could like harm North America, really, what does that matter? Because they could still hack all our computers, all our systems, all you know, they don't need to actually use a missile anymore. I think that's look at they could use a drone. Just they don't need an actual bomb anymore. So I think it's an outdated whatever it is. I think it's an outdated thought that's it's not going to help anyone. And plus there's nobody in the world that's threatening North America. It's not like we're we're like living in fear of like Russia dropping bombs on us. Like I really I don't think they could send a bomb that this far. They in the movies they they want to make people believe that they could do it. Well, goes up into this in space and the heat shields activate and then it comes. No, I don't think that's possible. So
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it gets colder up there.
yeah,
Robin in the chat said research NORAD, and that's what the Golden Dome is. Are you speaking of the towers, the NexRad? I know about NexRad.
Yeah, that kind of technology. It's like a protective shield barrier based on technology of radio signals and radiations and
yeah.
trying to detect. Right, it's more of a technological barrier than anything physical. Right, with maybe the positions of symmetric positions or even geometric designs of placements of towers could create that kind of a barrier that nothing can.
Well, it's very similar to what they have in Israel. They have what's called the Iron Dome.
The Iron Dome, yeah.
I've seen footage where people from Lebanon or the PLO, they're attacking Israel with missiles, not huge missiles, but it somehow it targets the missile before it hits the earth, and it blows it up. So it's sort of like a fence, visible. It's like a wireless fence in the sky, where anything that's not not an airplane or something like that, it can target it and take it out before it actually hits. So I think in a place like Israel, I think it's been very effective. But to bring that idea into North America, I don't see it being useful. I mean,
Well, I think it's like Vikka said. I think it's definitely technological, like maybe like sensors. Like a laser barrier. If it passes a sensor, then they'll be able to shoot it down from above. That's my thoughts. Like,
yeah, we definitely, it'll be something like that. Yeah, they're not actually building an actual dome structure. It's going to be all down here on Earth. Technology, computers, targeting systems, things like that. But it's a huge price tag, $175 billion. That seems like a giant, waste of money, but whatever.
Yeah, think of how much of that is actually going into the pockets of the contractors.
Well, yeah, exactly. They're all for it because they know it means it's a huge job program for their companies,
Yeah.
So they're like, oh yeah, of course you got to do it, But I don't think it's going to benefit. I don't think, when was the last time somebody sent a bomb into North America? I mean,
40s.
Yeah, well, I think in Japan they did. They tried to attack L.A. I think so. In World War II,
right?
But I don't think they even one bomb landed. I think they stopped it from the. They put up some planes in the sky and they stopped it. So I don't think one bomb landed. So I don't know if if we've ever had a bomb in from another country. I don't think there's any example of any bomb hitting us. So why do we need to spend $175 billion to protect us from invisible bombs?
Yeah, the theater of war, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't even believe in any of those wars. Really, countries fighting. There's other reasons that they're in those countries tearing them apart.
Yeah. A lot of it's architecture, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Get rid of the old world buildings.
That's what I think.
Yeah, it's sort of like that homeless problem in California, where they've spent $50 billion on homeless in California, and the homeless problem only gets worse. They have more people who are homeless.
Yeah, well, like the drug war here too, bro.
It's because all that money is not going to the homeless people; it's going to the administration of people that claim they're helping homeless people. It's just a big jobs program for them.
Yeah,
and actually helping homeless people, that's too dirty of a job.
They're actually causing the homeless.
Right. Well, I've heard examples of these people getting paid like $300,000 a year to to administer nothing. They're not doing anything. They're not building anything. They're not helping anyone. And I remember an example of they bought an old motel and they said they were going to turn it into a homeless shelter, and they spent like billions of dollars trying to renovate this old hotel. And I think somebody came in and said, oh, well, it's not sanitary enough. We have to tear it all down. And it was just a giant waste of money, of billions of dollars. And I'm like, what are these people doing? They're like, they have all the money in the world and they have not two brain cells to rub together. It's like,
Yeah, the same like the ISS, like billions of dollars to make, billions of dollars to maintain. What the hell did it really give? Right? Other than these clowns doing clown show there, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I think Globirth is. It's just a big giant jobs program. These people need to build something and make something, and NASA
break something.
Says, oh yeah, well, of course space is real, and you can go to Mars, and we need you to build this, this nut
balloons
for our CGI space station, and it's all fake,
Oh yeah.
But I guess what else are people gonna do? I mean, I don't know. People need something to do, right?
Away from the creator and being naturally healthy and happy. Anything.
Well, ideally, it'd be nice if we all like had our own little gardens and we went to church on Sunday, but I don't think that's very plausible. I think
oh yeah, grow your own food, harvest your own water, right?
Right.
Do your all DIY, right? So for sure. But that's not what they want.
Yeah, well, I think we're always going to have factories and industrial jobs in the future. I think technology and it's like we have to go down that path, whether it's fake or not, I don't think that,
How long before, when these robots roll out, how long before like 80% of the jobs are gone? I predict within 10 years at least, it would then.
Yeah, well, that's the problem,
Everything is gonna be gone, dude. Everything. It's like it's they're not gonna leave anything, right?
Yeah, whatever it is that people do now, computers can do it 10 times better and faster and cheaper.
And the physical things too. And the physical things too, they're gonna be doing faster.
The only thing I think they can't do is plumbing. That's what I think the future. I think we're gonna have a lot of plumbers in the future.
Right.
Because
they said oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think a computer can do plumbing. So
it's because of the water, right? You mean it's gonna get burnt,
shorted out. Yeah, I heard this statistic. They're shooting for a quota of every 90 days, the AI from this point on. I heard this like last week or 2 weeks ago, that every 90 days they expect AI's capability and robotics and everything to double every 90 days, double. And then within so many months, then it starts to be a shorter amount of period to double until you get to what they call like a singularity kind of thing, and I don't know what that's going to be like, bro. I don't know if I want to be here when all that happens. I'm not sure, That's just kind of a weird ass thought,
Dude, many
we never
things,
thought about this growing up.
Aji, many things is happening which we thought is going to be a lot in the future. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I
Like,
agree, man. I agree.
so what can we expect in the next 10 years, right? There's a lot of difference in the last 10 years to now, right?
Hmm.
Or last 20
Hmm.
years, right? We were
Hmm.
like in total analog to today we are totally digital, right? So where we will be in the next 10 years. So it looks so artificial sometimes. It looks so scripted.
Right. And Vika, just to build on that, so what I'm afraid of, I'm not afraid of much, but what I'm afraid of is, you know, they're going to take self-healing out of our hands to treat ourselves by, you know, either we're not going to be able to find good seeds anymore, or like the technology that we could use now with magnetics and motion to heal, like or to get your chakras back in line, kind of thing. I mean, there's always going to be like the wisdom of how to help ourselves, but if we submit or give our power over to a machine, right, then it's going to be super hard, I think, to keep like a sane brain, you know, or the foods are going to get worse or something where they're taking the technology that we know of now and they're going to take it in their own hands and say they can use it, but we can't. And I think if we don't stand up and do something about it, we're just going to walk right into it, man. Like, you know, oh, like, you know, protect us or tell us the secrets of how to be useful again, or you get my point, guys. I'm sure, but yeah, it's getting to where really sketchy, yeah, and fake. So yeah, I'll leave it there.
Oh, yeah.
But it kind of makes
Artificial.
sense the way they take everything in nature and make it patentable. So if they could take our own natural healing away, I'm sure they'd love to.
Yeah, and I'm beginning to think that this trans agenda is something much deeper than money or control. It's like a complete brainwashing
Humanism, you
of
mean?
what. Yeah, transhumanism. Yeah, yeah, transhumanism. Like it's taking your naturalness from you, right? Your organic self, like a not a lawful person, but a natural person, right? Um, and if they take the essence of what it is to be human in just a generation, they can brainwash people to think that's the norm. You should, you should want to aspire to a more digitized economy and mechanical
No,
body, so to
Aji,
say.
Aji, Aji, but how we know that we are not a technology or a mechanical robot, but of biotechnology? Can't we
Biotech,
be
yeah.
that?
Hmm. Yes, absolutely. I think you know, the bottom line to a creator would be to want his creation to thrive, right, and be um and let the subconscious programming like run in the background while we have free will in the foreground, right? It would go hand in hand, but people that want to add to that as if it's not good enough is what I'm seeing, right? They're brainwashing people to think, hey, you could aspire to godlike capabilities and faster and a stronger immune system or something. You know what I mean? It's like the advertising is so overwhelming nowadays. It's going to be hard for kids in 10 years that are like 10 years old to know any different. You see what? Yeah, yeah. They say it takes 10 years to brainwash a generation. I believe that. I'm seeing it, bro.
Yeah, and 20 to make like the world forget about a major event. if they don't talk about it, no, you know, then it becomes lost in history. It's not that hard, obviously. It makes
Oh
sense
yeah.
too, right? How they want to take everything away and then resell it back to us as a licensed privilege. So they would do that with everything they get their hands on. So yeah, that makes sense. I can picture that being part of the gig.
Oh yeah. That's why it's important to work with the rhythm or the frequency of this earth, right? And the power to heal us and to put us in the right direction in everything, right? The nature. That's why they are also against the nature, right? They are contaminating, they are destroying, they are polluting, they are everything possible. They are
Yeah.
they are mining, they are for everything, right? So yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, Vika, guys, Gene, Chris, nice to meet you, buddy. I got to jump off here. My, uh, I got to get my dad's help for just a few minutes. And if y'all are on here in a little bit, I will try to
Oh,
jump back
we
on.
are almost done too, bro. Yeah, for tonight. So yeah, if you want any last thoughts before you go.
Hey, man, keep it up. Because we're almost we're almost like the last front of truth, right? And yeah, man, I don't want anyone to think that it's not possible to overcome these kind of challenges, right? In the world, people are going to lie to us all the fucking time. It's what they've done for year in and year out, right? From the government side or people that just want that kind of control or ability to manipulate others. So, yeah, man, just don't buy the bullshit and stick to your guns, man. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Yeah,
Good to see you,
have
Russell.
They're gonna
fun.
have
Good
a
to
Glad
they're
to
see
gonna
have
you.
have
you
a
all
hard
settled
time.
up.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hey, and God bless you both, man. Or you three, sorry, you three. And
And
great show,
everybody in
man.
the
I
chat.
enjoyed being
And
here.
everybody in the chat.
Everybody in the chat, yes, yes, sir, man. Well, God bless you. I look forward to next week, man. We chat some more.
Oh yeah. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, you're welcome, guys. God bless. Talk to you later.
Good
See ya.
night, bro.
Chris, last thoughts, bro. We are almost done. Last thoughts on the title we have got today. Are you there, Chris?
You might have just stepped
Hold.
away.
Yeah, I stepped away.
Ah, there he goes.
Yeah, last thoughts, bro, about breaking the silence.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen that yet, so I really can't say much about it. But I agree with the concept that to me, a TFE doesn't really mean that much. I don't trust the people that did it, and even if there is a 24-hour sun, I think it can be explained with a flat Earth. So I don't think we should. I think Will Duffy said it best that we shouldn't be focused on the sun. We're we live here on Earth and we're focused on the Earth. We're trying to prove the Earth is flat. Not the sky or the dome is flat. So that's all I would have to say. But I'm looking forward to Jaron having a talk with Witsit about whether or not this proves anything. So in my opinion, it doesn't prove a thing. So we'll see what they have to say about that. So that's all.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Thanks for being here. And this is the thing, yeah, if as you said, and as Duffy is also saying, that the sky have nothing to do with the earth, right? But they want people to believe that what they saw is true, right?
Right.
That's the problem.
Exactly.
Absolutely, bro. Thanks for being here. Awesome as always.
Okay, we'll see you
Gene.
again next week. Thank you.
Oh
Bye.
yeah.
Thanks, Gene.
Bye.
We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Absolutely, brother. Good to see you, man.
Gene.
Yeah, bro. I think it's very interesting how this is unfolding so slowly. It's painful. You know, I kind of I think that the pause, this dramatic pause that seems to be going on, uh, is just adding to the fire here we got, and that how it's probably not exactly the way some people think it unfolded. I can't let go of the idea of there being some sort of enormous tent being lifted by dirigibles, aerostats, or something that they flew right into, and maybe they didn't even know. I don't know, but they got fooled somehow. There's just too much wrong with it, you know. And now that break in his silence, I don't know what he broke. You know, it wasn't anything really new in there. But yeah, like Chris said, though, I'm really interested in seeing how this conversation goes between the two of them, and I hope that doesn't take 6 months, because that's just going to look like a big setup too. It almost does already. I think he probably should have not said anything and just announced the date. Yeah, 2 days we're doing this, and he would have that would have set this community on fire. Nobody would miss that. So for him to announce it, and then yeah, I mean, it's just a rumor at this point. So I don't know, but I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what the silence was that he broke. I didn't really get too much, dramatic information out of it. That's for sure. So no, I'm gonna keep my ears peeled and my eyes open. You know, um, I almost feel bad for the guys, but we all got our crosses to bear and our paths to walk in this place. So why they did it, I don't know. But the Earth's flat, and for Jaren to jump because he thinks he saw a circling sun around him, and what they're calling Antarctica is very odd, very curious. So yeah, to see these two guys go at it would be great. I just hope it's not too long, because it's going to take the excitement out of it the longer that goes. So yeah, bro, thanks for a great show, brother. I had a good time. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Chat was great tonight. And we'll see you next week, everybody.
Yeah, brother. Absolutely. I don't expect a lot from these people that they're gonna spew out truth. All right. If they were on together in this shield fest of going there and doing all this shit and creating more confusion in the community, right? What the fuck? It's gonna be another show, scripted show. All right. And what did he really break the silence other than crying about what he did? He didn't speak about real data and real stuff, breaking the silence that you just freaking cried the 2 hours that the people were not listening, and because he want the people to trust him, bro. Even though the person who went with turned into a glover, right? Being one of the closest friend, and now you want to create, oh, now I'm gonna debate him. What you're trying to still push that the earth there is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. This is what you're trying to push, right? And even after crying that he could be doing better things than doing flat earth, why don't you do better things, right? Maybe Jaron found a better way to do things and he became a glober, right? He's literally saying that he cannot go to a bigger platform because they don't want this high sensitive topic of flat earth. So why the hell are you there? Go and do other subject and do your shit. Go to your big platforms and stop fucking making the community in a different direction, right? By making them believe that because you went to the Antarctica, so you want the people to believe because of, just trust me, bro. that's not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen. It's too late. You think 6 months, like the people were like, just like, okay, let him sleep, let them sleep, do all their bullshit, do all their flipping, right? And then, right? But nothing, just crying, right? Because not getting what it used to be, right? You guys created by yourself, right? The distrust, even though half of the community already used to trust these people, right? So anyway, guys, we'll leave it to you for tonight. Have fun, guys. We'll see you next week. Thanks everybody who was on the panel tonight. Yep. Tron, Chris, yep, Gene, RG, and everybody in the chat. Awesome. See you guys next week. Yeah, keep your eyes open, guys, and because after this deception, nothing could be trusted. Anything coming from that directions want people to go in different directions about what could be happening on the flat earth and continuing this. And now they want to go to bigger platforms. Leave flat earth alone. We should thank Jaron that he left flat earth alone, in a sense that we could distinguish that he's not been infiltrated and keep going on. At least we can see that. Many knew that, but we got the evidence. So this bullshittery is going to continue, guys. Anyway, have fun. Have a nice Sunday evening with your loved one. Enjoy, chill out, and see through the bullshit. Bye.